Shit isn't coming. It's here. It's here.
Welcome to the new paradigm. This land is your land, white man. All the mothers are welcome to try to survive. Welcome to the wasteland. Welcome to the new paradigm. Not every day you see an empire shift up and die. What a time to be half alive. Accelerating and we're running out of. Need I remind you that you're still half alive? In the wasteland there's no gas. What a time to be half alive. Right on time, right on time. What a time to be half alive. Right on time to be on the wrong side. Welcome to the wasteland. Welcome to Grifter Paradise. This land is your land. Rich man, poor motherfuckers gonna kill each other just to survive. Welcome to the wasteland. Welcome to the new paradigm. Not every day you see an empire shift up and die. Can you believe we let it all go to the What a time to be half alive. to me
Hello, and welcome to the Forced Adversity Podcast. My name is Dane. Tonight, we've got a very special episode for you. I'm going to be doing one of these guys, one of these episodes here. Oh, where is it? Where's the thing? Here it is, right here.
The song that goes, quote, not a woman but a whore, I can taste the hate. Well, now I'm killing you, watch your face turning blue, unquote, by a group that has sold 2 million copies of that particular album. They're very popular with young kids.
And joining me is our tipper Gore for the evening, Morgan.
Hi. Hello.
How's it going?
I apparently need to experience some things.
I mean, don't we all? Jimi Hendrix once asked, have you been experienced? Or at least that was the name of an album, I think. Anyway, yeah, it's a Sunday night. That's when we normally do the fapping, but pre-Christmas fapping, that's not always happening.
Well, I mean, it's unless we're fapping on Christmas, it's always pre-Christmas fapping.
True. I mean, we did. Wait, did we fap on Christmas? Or we did a Christmas fap one time?
We've done a Christmas fap.
Okay.
Which will air on
there was something I
rerun.
meant to look into. Something I meant to look into that really, would have been perfect. But instead of starting to show off on what I did wrong, let's go ahead and just do something more fun than that. So here's a clip. By the way, you remember when all this Charlie Kirk stuff happened? Like that whole he got that hole in his neck that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was people like us and other people that aren't complete idiots and aren't completely ignorant to history. Saw what the Trump administration started doing. And we're like, oh, they're trying to make this in like a Reichstag fire kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we weren't the only ones that saw that potential.
Charlie Kirk was killed. There was a lot of tough talk on the dissident right of, I heard this all over the place. We've got 2 weeks to crack down. We can destroy the left right now. They hate you. They want to kill you. They want you starving and blah, 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 blah. You heard all of that. And it does seem like he missed his moment. It's almost like to use an analogy that I might regret, it's almost like there was a Reichstag fire of sorts, and Hitler decided that he wanted to roast marshmallows as opposed to engaging the Enabling Act. What are some of your thoughts on this in terms of Charlie, what's happened with the right, the response, and all of that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I had the exact same feeling, and I've been thinking about that for the past couple of weeks.
I think the feeling he was having immediately after was like, oh my God, they're going to think I did it. Oh my God, they're going to think I did it.
Yeah.
I think I'm responsible. They're going to think I'm responsible. Oh my God. And and every move he's made, talking about Fuentes since then, has kind of been like a reaction move, I feel like, and he's not made the best choices for his own brand or longevity of his brand because of that.
I think what initially looked like him trying to position himself to some sort of greater advance was people using him, people like Tucker Carlson and tonight's special guest, Candace Owens, using him as a springboard to mainstream the views they share with Nick Fuentes.
Well, yeah, and it's also like, when you think about it too, it's like these people, Tucker and Candace and Nick Fuentes, I mean, you and I probably don't even see them as being that much more abhorrent than one another. None of them, they're all essentially the same thing, but I mean, but to their audiences, Nick Fuentes says all this horrible shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he says these terrible things, and he's so he's so gross into, so I feel like they can peel off some of his audience. Maybe
that's their
peel, well, like, I don't know. Also saying like, look, but we're not that bad. You know what I mean? Like, we're not as gross as he is.
Right.
While still holding many of the same views, or at least advocating for things that are very, going to lead to the same outcomes.
Yeah, I caught some of Ben Shapiro's speech from the TPUSA conference this weekend.
Oh, I didn't see that. Is it worth looking at?
Not really. No.
Maybe I'll be Tipper Gore.
We have time. Sure, we can pull it up. But I think that the takeaway I had was cognitive dissonance. And you could tell the audience is not with him on this.
See, and I had a moment like yesterday. I was thinking, what if, and I know it's fantasy, but like, what if something just clicked and Ben Shapiro's like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been so blind to where I've been advocating. Like these people are they don't care about Jews at all.
I think Ben Shapiro had that moment a while ago.
Yeah.
And is just desperately trying to plug the dam. But it turns out that when you have helped create an ecosystem of omnipresent, omniversal, omni-applicable bigotry, they were never going to spare you, you idiot.
I just don't. Yeah, I mean, he had to have known, because there's been times in the past when he literally, laundered Tucker Carlson's just straight up, anti-Semitic or white nationalist talking points.
Right.
And he would launder those, and it just came to, I guess, Nick Fuentes specifically was the line for him. I don't know why he decided that was where he was going to make his fucking stand. But yeah, it's all bizarre, man. We gotta let these hosts fight for sure. I think the important thing is maybe it feels important, or if it's not important, it feels good to give context and analyze their fighting.
Yes.
I don't give a shit about what happened with whichever Paul got beat up the other day or whatever. Don't care. But I want to know about Candace Owens talking about some ball demons. We'll get to that. But I wanted to get through this, and then
It's an extraordinary missed opportunity because, like you said, it's handed to us on a silver platter. Here's a liberal Democrat, goes to a free speech campus event, shoots the number one guy. And instead of that being the narrative, which is crack down on the left, and it's not like that's unprecedented either. Obama did it. Biden did it. Whether it was January 6th or Sandy Hook, whenever there's a mass casualty event or a tragedy, they very effectively weaponize a bureaucracy.
Wow, man.
No, Lamau. I wish they did. What did Sandy Hook do for gun safety in this country?
Well, no other children died in schools since then.
Yeah, we haven't had uncountable numbers of school shootings since. Hundreds of school shootings since Sandy Hook. Literally nothing happened. Meanwhile, also, we don't really know the political affiliation of the alleged Charlie Kirk shooter. Given that it took so many attempts for them to actually arrest someone and charge them with crimes, we don't know if the alleged shooter is even the right guy because they had so many missed arrests that they're like, oh, we arrested this person.
And not to mention the literal conspiracy theorist that was hired to be the head of the FBI.
Right.
And I've got my conspiracy theory on that, which isn't so crazy actually. That why would you hire such a crazy conspiracy theorist to be the head of the FBI? Which, by the way, you don't like the FBI if you're Trump. You think it's it's that organization's going to take you down one day if you don't do something about it.
Which is doing.
Yeah, so just hire a fucking crazy guy to be the head of it and ruin its reputation. Just run it into the ground.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's why he hired two podcasters, one of which who quit last week to run the FBI. Dan Bongino quit.
Apparently he didn't even make that clear or something. Like he just kind of took all his shit and left. I don't know.
Apparently he was he left and over the summer and then kind of showed back up around the Charlie Kirk stuff and then just kind of went back to doing nothing and then is oh yeah, I actually quit.
Well, because as crazy and stupid as he is, which he is both of those, but he also is a former law enforcement, actual law enforcement guy. So he probably recognizes just the a lot more, whereas somebody like Cash can justify, he can rationalize his goof offs to a certain degree because he doesn't have any real context for how bad what he's doing is.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can just kind of, they'll believe this bullshit. Sure. Whereas Bongino's over holy shit, dude, this is it's really bad. He's too busy acting like a baddie on
Well, yeah, with him taking the private jet to fly to see his girlfriend sing at a wrestling event, and then flying to Vegas to do stuff, and he's all doing it with an FBI private jet, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's also apparently maybe an agent for Mossad. That's what I've heard. That's probably not true at all, but I've just something that right wingers have accused her of.
That it's definitely not true.
But I did want to just add one more thing, because it's been a while since we heard from Richard Spencer, man. He's looking really cool with that mustache, dude. You got his shirt unbuttoned there at the top, mustache, just slick back, dude. You were the coolest guy in the world. What was that thing you said that time? It was so cool, man. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, it was this.
Like a fucking 100 times. I am so mad. I am so fucking mad at these people.
Oh, poor baby.
We're gonna fucking ritualistically
humiliate
them. I am coming back here every fucking weekend if I have to.
Oh, poor baby.
I win. They fucking lose.
Aww.
That's how the world fucking works. Little fucking kikes. They get ruled by people like me. Little fucking.
He starts bringing out the $5 slurs and shit. He's
going for the high score.
Oh my god! You can tell he comes from an old from money. He comes from money, and he was taught those slurs from generations of racists.
Have you heard about
nobody uses them anymore?
the new scandal out of Harvard?
What's that?
Apparently, Harvard's student population has a Nazi problem.
Oh, I feel like we just have that problem.
A school full of rich white kids has a Nazi problem.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked to learn such a thing. Yeah. I mean, is that news or something? Where's that at?
Apparently that's news this weekend.
Huh.
I mean, it is the holiday season, so I know things are a little slow, but
yeah. Fair.
God.
So you know about the Erica Kirk thing, where she well, first of all, the Barry Weiss. Okay,
Barry Weiss.
In almost as if she's determined to make sure that she's forever the loser that she was born to be with a name like Barry. I don't know if that was what she was born with or what, but man, it's a real miscalculation on her parents' part. If so,
Gail has money. Change your name.
You know what? She's the kind of contrarian dickhead that she almost certainly considered at one time and was like, no, I'm actually going to I'm going to be better. I'm going to be Barry or whatever. And who knows? Anyway, but she's an idiot and she proved it. Yeah. The network of Cronkite is officially dead. And what it has risen in its place is some fucking zombie propaganda shit that's going to appeal to nobody apparently.
No one.
Because the first big thing they decided to do was have Erica Kirk, which Barry Weiss, she said that she's the woman who can bring people together in America these days. Nope. I don't know if she believes the shit she says or what. I don't know, but she said that.
I think she's high on her own supply.
She, her YouTube channel was getting, sometimes about the same as my channel or about the same as, maybe a 20,000 subs channel when she had, I don't know, 300, 400,000 subs on her channel.
Yeah.
Like their free press show that she was doing was getting 7,000 or 8,000 views per episode.
Yeah.
And then suddenly she is the head of one of the major networks.
Because, she's so good at her. No, she's
right.
Not.
Because she's so
good.
No,
she's a propagandist. The reason they brought her on.
She's got a long history of doing the news. No, she doesn't actually.
No, doesn't know fucking shit about doing the news.
So yeah, this is her idea of what to do with CBS, and I'm guessing, maybe not just her idea, but we can talk about this too, because I think
they brought her on. Okay, the reason they bought Paramount and CBS was so that they could destroy CBS News.
Right.
That's why. And so her job is to destroy CBS News, and so she is doing her job.
Yeah. I wonder if she realizes that, or if they actually convinced her that she's gonna, make something new and cool out of this.
Have you seen where is the I actually have something to share on CBS. Now that you're mentioning, I'm gonna pop this up, share screen.
Okay.
I got two little things to share.
Oh.
All right, I'll pop this bad boy up there. So this was a special that CBS, that 60 Minutes CBS's like premier news program, weekly news program, was working on this presentation. And I'll read it. Editors note the broadcast lineup for tonight's edition of 60 Minutes has been updated. Our report Inside CCOT will air in a future broadcast. It was supposed to air tonight, and they posted this earlier, like literally like this afternoon.
Wait, what was supposed to air?
This Inside CCOT report that 60 Minutes was going to do.
What is
They've
CCOT?
been working on it for a while. Now, CBS pulled this. Let me start it over. Can you hear it?
No.
Okay.
But what is CCOT?
That is the prison in El Salvador that the American government was paying to hold migrants without cause.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that, of course they aren't going to show that.
But
That resembles something like actually useful and valuable journalism.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this out just so you can see the clips.
Sure.
Because the visual does all the work.
Jesus Christ. So I've watched I have watched a Netflix documentary at one point years ago about maybe it was even the same prison. It definitely reminds me of it. And maybe if they do this in more than one prison, then it's one thing. But like, yeah, I've seen a documentary one time. It was late at night. I was not doing so well in general at that point. This is a long time ago, like a decade or more. And I happened to catch this documentary, watch it on Netflix, and it definitely bummed me way the fuck out to see prisoners treated that way.
Yeah.
And to then realize now that like, oh, this is the same prison or similar prison that they were sending, just people who overstayed their visa.
Hairdressers, day laborers, construction workers, nurses.
So that was supposed to air tonight, and they changed it just last minute.
Just last minute, yeah. The preview that I showed, I can link at least the Blue Sky post with it in chat, so people can check it out. They pulled that preview from the internet. Obviously, it was saved and recovered.
Sure.
But yeah, Barry Weiss's job isn't to do the news. Barry Weiss's job is to ruin the reputation of CBS, and she is succeeding. Well, okay. I think the one thing that could eventually one day maybe salvage CBS as an institution is that her name is all the fuck over it now. And so in theory, if they have to sell it or whatever at some point, then someone else could come in and take over, and it's like, well, it's not Barry Weiss running the show anymore because she had to make it all about her.
Yeah, I bet I'm willing to bet that Ellison sold it to her like based on her ego. It was like, oh yeah, you're gonna, because I saw her saying something about like, we need to bring people together in the center, and get rid of some of these voices on the fringe kind of thing that people treat like they're the. And like to a degree, there is like an element of truth to that in the sense that like, why do we fucking listen to Nick Fuentes? Whenever it comes to find out like a lot of his following is botted anyway, apparently.
Yeah.
So maybe we do need to be more careful about who we platform essentially, but like just aiming for the center in terms of discourse is not the way. Because
especially because like we have a tendency in this country to let the right define what the center is.
Yes.
And we are at the point where interracial marriage is barely in the center anymore. That's about to become a left-wing political stance that interracial marriage should be legal. We have two members of the Supreme Court on record that it should not be.
Well, so one of the things that took place, the things that took place rather, was that she had that Erica Kirk on there, which is absurd. Just most people don't know who that is. Most people didn't know who Charlie Kirk was.
Yeah.
And I guess they maybe do now, but like before he developed sudden, perforated neck syndrome, I don't think anybody knew who he was. Not a lot of people, not the average person, right? And then here this happens, and one of the bizarre things here, and this is just nuts to me. It's like, okay, you decide to do, you're gonna do an obvious propaganda piece, like like Weiss decided she's going to do with this, and she's going to bring Erica Kirk on there and try to launder his legacy and launder what TPUSA actually is, and get people on board with that, because TPUSA is very much hitching its wagon to Israel now. I mean, it already was. Like, I think some things taking place behind the scenes that made sure that they're going to stay hitched to them.
Right.
And so what does she do? She gets, it's a town hall is what it is. It's like, okay, so you expect people to come up and say stuff, but man, she had the dude who was literally talking to Charlie Kirk when he was shot, who was previously in a video on Channel 5. He did a video on there, and seems like a decent guy. And the guy asked her a very, very, very good question, a very valid question, and just, I don't know what they were thinking was going to happen. I don't know if they thought she was going to answer it honestly or what, but I just want to show this. And unfortunately, it's just a Hassan Piker clip. But
person that Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Erica, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity, and I'm likewise horrified by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder. I believe that they stoke the flames of violence. But even worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most—
Oh, hell. Okay. Oh, my God.
Just watch her face. It's
yeah.
Oh, my God. Brother, look at Erica Kirk's face. Oh, my God. What was his name? Hunter Kozak? Bro, you are in danger, dog. Oh, my God. She looks like she's going to kill you. It gets worse.
Most powerful and influential person on earth who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message.
Oh, my God. What is going on? Dude. Oh my.
So it's like, I don't know if Weiss intended for this to be such a fucking bizarre, surreal train wreck of a situation, but yeah, there it is.
Well,
and I was thinking about
for any of her reporting skills that she allegedly has, she's like a podcaster and like a written reporter, opinion piece writer, really, not really a journalist. So and whoever is working the camera here, props to the malicious compliance for that person. Whoever they are, just like,
I don't even know if it's their fault. It might just be her fault, because here's what I was thinking. So both of these women on this town hall, neither of them are used to doing what they're currently doing. They've both been thrust into a situation where they have agreed to it. So it's their, based on their consent to do these things, but they're still just unprepared. You think about Erica Kirk, what she's got a past in. She doesn't, and so she's not somebody who is, doing YouTube videos or anything where she's, showing her face all the time. But what she does have a past in is beauty pageants, where what do they do? They smolder. That's their look. They smolder. All they know how to do, right? They do that fucking glare, and it's like their stone face. So like, that's her. I think that's what this is. My most charitable thing is her trying to seem interested or just some kind of intense or passion or whatever. It just comes off like a psychopath.
Like she has the rage, yeah.
Like if like she's literally trying to fucking she's pyrokinetic, then that dude's hair would be, just playing.
Right, yeah. This would be an awful time for her X gene to activate, is what I'm saying.
Or awesome. Maybe it would risk take down the CBS bullshit.
Okay.
No,
Erica Kirk's Omega level mutant, and her power is explosion. Oops.
And Barry Weiss, just like her skin flies off or something like that. Yeah. Like Willow from Buffy kind of thing.
This has become a very weird comic book.
It's weird. It's weird. But it's not weird, this. Hell yeah.
I'm so confused.
Whatever that is, I'm into it. Whatever.
I'll have 2, I guess. Whatever that is, I'll have 2.
there's that. And then from there, she asked Erica Kirk what she wanted to say to Candace Owens, who has been doing all these conspiracy gestures toward TPUSA being involved, Israel being involved with Charlie Kirk's murder and stuff. And then eventually she got around to saying that France is involved too, actually, because you know how France is suing her, or not France, but like the Macrons are suing her. So obviously France needs to get wrapped up in there as well. And if it wasn't for the fact that she was just she's very specific on what she doesn't say. You know what I mean, Candace Owens? So like that's why she's not just a crazy person. She's not just saying psychotic things because she doesn't.
Particular in her language, and we'll talk about that more later.
Right. So yeah, for example, she made sure this whole time to never indicate that she thought Erica Kirk was involved with Charlie's murder.
Right.
Because that would have been a bridge too far, I think, for a lot of people, and a lot of people would have been, hey, what are you doing this widow?
Yeah.
So she would have documented that dude.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, we're gonna say so.
No, I forgot. Just the Dr. Hitman thing reset my brain.
Well, let's
absolutely what was going on there.
So what we're gonna do last week, and we didn't do it because we didn't have a show. If you weren't here, then that's why. That's on me. Last minute kind of thing. I just felt like I needed to rest, and so we rested.
It's sometimes you need to do that.
Which it was a hard decision to make because, and this is how much I needed to rest, because I had done plenty of research on the topic, which was the woke right, the woke MAGA, these new emergence of wokies on the right, which you may think, what the fuck are you talking about, Dave?
What is the woke right?
What is it? Does it really even exist? Well, I mean, I guess if you're someone who believes in wokeness as a concept, which I've always been resistant to accept the term, because I feel like that's been thrust upon us, and that they've already taken this thing and they took it from the communities they took it from, they redefined it to mean whatever the fuck they want, and then they start throwing it back at everybody and say, oh, you're woke. Then I'm like, I don't think I want that label. Like if you tell me that I'm pro trans or pro this or that, I'd be like, yeah, all that stuff, yes. But I don't know what you mean when you say woke necessarily. So
right. Well, especially in the ways they use woke, like everyone from Karl Marx to Milton Friedman is woke in their definition. It's
the idea of letting your and I hate to refer to them this way, but they are your enemies label you, and you just accept that. I don't like it because it just strategically feels weird. Anyway, but I've seen more people accepting it on the left in like this Trump 2.0 era than I ever did before. Have you seen that? Like I've seen people using it unironically now, and
I definitely have been, I don't want to say an advocate of it, but like I see when the right labels everything they don't like as woke, and the right is increasingly unpopular with just normal people. Because they have made everything they don't like into this category, and people are less and less likely to like them. Yes, put yourself in the category of things they don't like, because then
here's why I'm okay with accepting it now. I mean, it might take me a while to like be able to call myself that, because I just spent so long like resistant to it, but
for sure.
I'm not like against it now. And that's because like what you're saying, and that, like we spent a lot of time painting a picture of what these people think woke is, us and many other people, and pushing back against them being anti-woke and all this. And it's like they've essentially made it, it's uncool. It's not fucking cool to be anti-woke. I don't think it is anymore.
No, I don't think so. I think it's the opposite. I think it's, you see what the people stand for, and especially think, when Charlie Kirk shuffled off this mortal coil, and people started looking into him, I think that radicalized a lot of people in a way that the right did not expect, which was, wait a minute, this guy said some heinous shit.
Yeah.
Wait, this is your hero? This is your guy? You're going to put on a big stage show for his funeral? Oh no, guys!
Did I get tickets to the wrong event?
Right. Yeah.
But like I think the immigration stuff has also done a lot to damage their dismissal of woke ideas, right? Because it's like once enough people start seeing, because I think is part of it. I didn't want to believe that so many people who are anti woke are just that cool with harm happening to people, and I don't think that was it. I think that there was a section of people who were anti woke or maybe just like resistant to whatever they thought woke was, that didn't understand that there was harm that could be done from that.
Right.
And then once the average person starts seeing, like what we're just looking at, or hearing that people are being sent to El Salvador and they're, this kind of thing. I don't think it's so easy to stay anti woke anymore for certain folks.
Right. I also think that like the regimes, especially their immigration policy, is so disruptive to everyday life for American citizens that like you have raids on apartment buildings, you have arrests in the street where streets get blocked off to arrest one guy, or cops come, ICE. I don't want to call ICE cops. I don't want to besmirch the bad name of police by comparing them with a worse institution. But like ICE agents arresting moms picking up their kids from school, or trying to pull kids out of school who are parents of immigrant or are children of immigrants. People being taken out of line when they're at their swearing in ceremony for their citizenship, like that. If you were someone who was like, well, Trump is going to get rid of all of the bad immigrants, well, it's parents of school kids and people getting their citizenship. It's not, they're not going to fight, Mexican street gangs that they've spent so much time talking about in the first Trump regime.
Like, all the people that would say, they just need, I'm not against immigrants. They just need to do it legally. They need to do it the right way. It's like, okay, right. I've always thought that was, again, pretty stupid anyway. Like, I just don't think that that's something that, I mean, yes, I think that people should be citizens, I suppose, but I don't think we should make the pathway to get there so fucking ridiculous.
Right.
But I mean, then, and I guess some of those people actually meant it, though. That's the thing. So a lot of them didn't. A lot of them didn't actually care.
A lot of them did. Yeah.
Actually care that and once they find out, oh yeah, they're taking them out from their literal fucking asylum hearings that they're doing by the letter. They're following the instructions and stuff. And they're getting taken out too. They don't care. They're happy about that. But there are people, I think, that legitimately did believe to some degree in this being a system that you have to, abide by or whatever. And once they see that that's not even being, minded, yeah.
Yeah, and Sketchy brings this up, that they also don't have badges or cams, so we don't know if they're actually ICE, and that's a big part of it. Like, ICE, and they're trying to ramp up their hiring, and they have been since the budget bill passed back in March or April. But they have effectively deputized agents from other organizations and hired private security to do some of this. None of these people are trained for this sort of work. You've got FBI agents who used to work white collar doing ICE arrests. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's not their job. And it is by design. That they want the brutal strongman street oppression. It just turns out that people don't like that. Because it's disruptive. It's hard to watch. It's not what the people who buy the TV drama version of law enforcement. It's not what you think of when you think of law enforcement, right? Guys with guns and tactical armor and no identifying marks and no badges and face masks rolling up on a Honda Civic to pull some mother of three out of her car. That's not what police looks like to people.
I'm sorry, I just saw where Screwface is that basically the infighting on the right is like Cobra versus Cobra Law.
I don't get that one.
So like in the I think it was the G.I. Joe movie, was that it? The cartoon, the original animated movie, where they found out that Cobra Law was this ancient organization, the Cobra kind of thing that was the genesis of Cobra, the terrorist group or whatever. And
they have sectarian violence between the two.
Yeah, basically, against each other. They had different methods or whatever. One of them, the new one doesn't respect the old one's ways and whatever.
Right? Yeah, sure. That tracks. That's too funny.
And of course, they're all snakes. So.
Well, yeah, it's all very snake themed because
I remember that Cobra Commander actually turned into a snake in that. Now that I need to watch that again sometime.
Have you seen it's 1,000 years old at this point, and it's a complete aside. Have you seen the Cobra Kickstarter?
The Cobra Kickstarter?
Yes.
What? No.
So Cobra Commander to fund Cobra's operations had to create a Kickstarter.
Oh.
Have you seen this? It's like
no.
10 years old at this point. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up and send it to you. So we have some.
In the meantime, here's this.
It would be good. I thought it would be good for a while. I was like, oh, maybe they'll cure cancer. Maybe they'll solve climate change. Instead, it's just, here's a video of Martin Luther King rapping wet-ass pussy or whatever. Whoa, a video of Genghis Khan asking for consent. Whoa. I think AI art is the saddest thing in all of human history. I think if you use or create AI art, I mean this sincerely, I think you should kill yourself. You're a traitor to the human spirit. You're a traitor to humanity. You're not using your brain anymore. You might as well blow it all over the wall. And then I'd be like, hey, look, you didn't need AI to make art.
Oh, damn.
The art was in here all along.
I specifically wanted to see a reaction to that because I know that you would be on board for the anti-AI messaging, but I didn't know how far you would go with it.
Maybe not be the suicide messaging, but I appreciate his enthusiasm. Holy shit.
Yeah. Good joke. It's a good joke. Did you find what you're looking for?
Smoke after that. God damn.
Oh, it's been a long time, man. It's been a long time.
They sent Cobra Commander out into the world.
Oh, you're referring to when Morgan talked about cops versus ice, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of, yeah.
Yeah, do a Jackson Pollock.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just, man.
Yeah, don't kill yourself if you've shared art, AI art. Don't actually kill yourself, please.
Yeah, if you are doing AI art, stop
doing that.
Whatever you're paying for AI art, commission an artist. You will get something you like much more.
Or just try to do the thing that you would type into a prompt. Just try to draw that, even if it's bad.
Yeah.
And then try it again. Try another time.
Or honestly, do an image search of just whatever your prompt was going to be, and there's probably some rights-free art out there of that already.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So let's see this Cobra Kickstarter. Yes. No?
I sent it to you in the private chat.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a YouTube video.
Yeah, it was originally on a Kickstarter page, but the Kickstarter page was never launched because that's
It's on a channel called Dumb Shit Mountain.
That's how you know it's good.
And it has, unfortunately, we just missed it. It has 667 subscribers.
Ah, damn.
We could have been the magic number. All right.
Citizens of the world. Hey guys, it's me, Cobra Commander from Cobra! And as you know, recently my home and base of operations, Cobra Island, was destroyed by the nefarious, low-down G.I. Joes! So, here we are at Kickstarter, trying to raise funds to build an all-new Cobra Island. I'd like to set the record straight. We are not a deadly terrorist machine, hell-bent on world domination. We are a worldwide organization that employs hundreds of thousands of Cobra troopers. Cobra is committed to improving the community. Did you know one time we created a weather device to make it sunny every day? Here's a few incentives if you donate. A $10 contribution gets you this cool Cobra sticker. You can rock it on your Prius or your MacBook or whatever. gets you the services of Storm Shadow for a whole week. And yes, we'll still throw in the sticker. $1,000 gets you a new Cobra persona and an honorary place in Cobra. $10,000 and I will reveal to you my true identity.
So for $1,000, I basically get to do some kind of a gay kink costume and identity, because that's like what half of them seem like in hindsight.
Right,
You know,
you two get your own Village People knockoff costume.
It's like, man, they're not villains just because they have that lifestyle.
No, they're not.
Used car salesman. Yeah. That is interesting, because I did read the first 2 or 3 issues of Void Rivals, and I knew that it eventually, like in the second issue, I think is when maybe the first, they reveal a Transformer, and that's when I was like, holy shit!
Jetfire
but
shows up.
I didn't know it was going to go. Yeah, it's apparently gone much deeper in the crossover stuff they've done, which is pretty cool.
It is indeed.
$50,000, and I'll force the Baroness to show you her breasts. Look, we're trying to raise $94 billion. So take heed, world leaders. You have 24 hours to help us reach this goal, or I will unleash the mass device and take over the world!
Commander,
What's that?
we do not have the mass device. G.I. Joe stopped us, remember?
Oh, yeah. Oh, darn it. I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, anyway, if you could still donate, that'd be really cool. Thanks for watching, Kickstarter. And as always, don't forget, Cobra!
So, I think it's interesting that you can see the cameraman in his face, and that makes me think that you're kind of just shooting yourself in the foot by choosing that as your mask design in the first place.
A little bit, yeah.
As cool as it is, and it is cool.
It's a cool mask. It's a really
so cool
mask.
that I focus on it, and then I see the guy bending over
the camera.
It's kind of defeats the cool. It's like, immediately, like, oh man, that's kind of lame. And if you're going to be shooting terrorist videos like this, then
maybe don't reveal your camera guy. Or you could have the camera guy wear a mirror mask, and then they mirror back and forth, and you get that cool effect.
Yeah, maybe. I think that was like $1,000 or
$1,000, which is $200 or $200, something like that. Yeah, pretty for a whole week worth of ninja services. That's
true.
It's one ninja too, so I don't know if you ever
we could see him doing it. We saw him,
right?
So, not doing a very good job of doing the ninja thing.
Well, it's. Have you ever been to the Supervillain Picnic, the annual one?
No.
At the park at the place.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the joke prize is a lifetime supply of ninjas.
I think this year they're going to have this band playing there.
They are. The hat.
Yeah. All right. So look, that's good. That makes more sense than what we're about to get into here. So
it really does. That was the palate cleanser.
Wait, are we doing the woke right thing, or are we doing the Candace thing first?
Let's do the woke right thing, and then we'll
so here's
close
this
on
guy.
Candace.
I'm sure he'll tell you his name or something. But I want to see how long it takes before we are like, wait, what are you saying?
All right,
because he's going to start giving definitions and stuff. So.
True that some people on the right are now behaving as if they are also woke. And if it is true, why? Well, the term woke right is a bit controversial. It's been popularized by James Lindsay. The reason he coined the term is because he believes that there are some on the right that are beginning to adopt what we might call woke characteristics in the way that they think about the world and debate. Now, maybe you agree with James, and maybe you don't. But the bottom line is few people have done as much work studying, dissecting, and exposing wokeism than James Lindsay.
Right. He's dedicated his life to fucking exposing a concept that he's completely defining as he goes.
So, before we go on, James Lindsay, he's a sociologist.
Maybe.
Is he a philosopher?
He looks like he has a weak chin. That's all I know.
I just looked it up.
Yeah.
He's got a mathematics degree.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I just checked. He's a math guy.
He's only conceptual though.
He has concepts of a field of expertise.
Yeah. So on the overview on Google, it just, and I don't know what this means, but it says known for grievance studies affair. And it's like, so does that mean he's studying grievances, or he has grievances and he's doing study? I don't know.
I actually know what this is.
Yeah.
So, because there's a podcaster by the name of Eli Bosnick who wrote a blog about this years ago now, I think 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. And so what he and another person did is they submitted a paper to a pay-to-play academic journal.
Okay.
These paper mills exist out there to just say you had your paper peer-reviewed, but basically you're just paying them to print your thing and say it's in an academic journal.
And then you can pretend like it's legit, yeah.
Yeah, and so basically he and another person did that and then said that this journal published the nonsense they made up when they paid to have it published.
Wait, who did this?
James Lindsay.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
he used
he's famous for. Yeah, he basically just paid to have something published and then pretended like it was a scandal.
Oh, so literally just another astroturfing, and then
it's literally astroturfing.
People with platforms saw use for that, for this man, and said, "Look, you want to spend your life going against this concept of wokeness? We're gonna challenge for you because you're gonna write what it means." And he has written some words about it, but let's see how he introduces it. And then I've got, or do you want to do his James Lindsay? Go straight to the horse's ass.
Let's go straight to the horse's gas. Yeah. Woke operates.
And this is, the second part of this thing. There's he wrote a lot about this. This is just about the woke right, by the way, but he spends a good time. And I will say this, credit to him, credit to the guy in the video that we were just about to watch, legitimately, because they both start out saying, let's define the terms. And that's honestly something that's refreshing to hear from the right, because they so often do not want to define things. They so often want to literally just, and that's why I think that James Lindsay's kind of a fool. He's a fool because he's literally, the woke thing was the way it was implemented by the right, co-opted, implemented, was so that they didn't have to explain anything, right? Like it,
right?
And yeah, for him to then try to turn around and define it, it's like, no, you're missing the point.
I mean, his ability to define it is a tautology, right? He starts in the second. Woke operates like a cult because it is a cult. That's a tautology. He's just, the sky is blue because it's blue.
Circular logic.
Thanks.
It operates. What's funny is that he says it operates in predictable ways, except for where it doesn't. So listen, it operates in predictable ways, structured in roughly the same way every time, whether formally or loosely, and like all of the fucking qualifiers that he adds to it operating in predictable ways. You know what I mean? Like the general structure of a cult is that there are three main tiers within every cult, formally or informally. Now, first of all, informal cults, is that a thing that we're doing? Is that a thing?
I mean, sure, I guess, but like, so I guess the first thing I noticed is that like he's saying like the 33 degrees of Freemasonry is a cult. The Freemasons are like a social club, my guy. Like, I know fucking Freemasons, and
at a certain point, the way he's
important nerds.
So when he talks about the outer ring of people, right? Like was it the wokish that's what he calls the most outermost ring of people in the cult?
Yeah.
That just, at that point you're kind of getting to just like a culture. Like when you're talking about that many people, and then people who just kind of vaguely have some familiarity with some kind of cultural concepts that have come up or whatever, you're just kind of talking about society in a way.
It's just
it's not a cult anymore whenever you're just like roping so many people into it, right?
Well, like, okay, so in his definition here, right, like his cult structure is not how cults work, but he also doesn't cite any sources, so I guess I don't have to either, which is really convenient for doing this on the fly.
Yeah. there are some very clear and peer reviewed, in fact, examples of what cults actually, how they tend to function and operate, and how they're not all identical. They don't always work the same way, but there are some identifying things of which that seems like this would have almost none of.
Right.
You know.
But like you have in his mind, you have he only defines 2 of them. That's kind of impressive. It's got 3 layers. I'm gonna tell you about 2. My guy, you're really bad at this. By the definition he's established, he is the woke preaching to the wokish. Because he is the one who is committing to knowing and pushing a doctrine, right? He is that guy. So he is the woke in his own model.
Yep. I mean, well, so okay. So look, going to Merriam-Webster here. Hopefully, that's not too radical of a leftist organization here.
These days, I'm sure that's what they think the dictionary is woke.
Noun, a group, as in an organization or religious sect, with tenets and practices regarded as coercive, insular, and dangerous. And I can immediately, as I'm saying these words, realize how that these people will try and manipulate events to fit that.
Right.
They talk like, so the whole thing, the main thing he focuses on a lot in this whole fucking blog or whatever it is how they go out of their way. They're all activists. Then once they're activated, they're an activist, and their job is to try and rope in more people. And if they can't get you to join the woke, then they're gonna ostracize you or whatever. And it's like, so you mean what you mean is these are people that are advocating for the things that they believe, like you're doing right now, like everybody generally.
He would not. I don't think he would describe himself as an activist, but I don't know how you would describe his career at this point other than activism. He is an activist. That's his day job. Now, he would call me an activist because I'm a out trans person and all out trans people are activists, but that's not my day job. I don't make my money being trans. In fact, I probably lose money being trans because that's just how the world works.
I took the chat off the screen so we can make sure to get this last part here, because it's like, holy shit, man. Talk about hello fellow kids.
Yeah.
So let's see. By far, most of the people in a cult are outer school or wokish in woke cults. Wokish people have, this is the first time I've ever heard this shit, by the way. Wokish,
yeah. They're woke adjacent.
Take on some of the woke cult lenses, meaning they sometimes and partly see the world in woke ways with some critical consciousness and act within it as such. Transgression, social enforcement, virtue signaling, victimhood identification, polarized splitting, etc. Mostly they think the woke trend is what's happening. He put that in quotes. Are you fucking kidding me? This is not this fucking 70s, dude. And are going along with it. It's pretty literally a party of vibes.
Okay, let me use the thing that he defines woke as. Transgression.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're talking about like we have the people who complain about woke, I mean, you guys cover it every Wednesday, right? Every little dumb fucking thing that sets them off. Everything they call degenerate, that's transgressive, right?
Pronouns.
Right. Social enforcement. Think of every, from sundown towns to keeping gay kids out of their home by their parents. Like, they're all about social enforcement, virtue signaling. I mean, all the flag and cross bullshit they're up to. Victimhood identification. I mean, we talked about it, 2 weeks ago with the dramatized play that is put on every time a right-wing person wants to become a star by burning a trans person's career. This is just the right-wing political machine over the last, I don't know, several centuries.
It really is bizarre how it just becomes like, this is just pointing in a mirror. I feel like it's important. We should go back to the first part of this now, just because I think it's really telling. I don't know. It's something. Okay. he goes on in the first part of this. He describes what he sees going on with the right. That's how, it's kind of the introduction is like, this is the woke right is a thing. No, what do I mean by that? And then, of course, he says, here's what, just check this out. Because he's actually seems to be kind of pretty good analysis on what's actually happening in his party. Most of MAGA is not woke right. Few conservatives even lean woke right. What's that? Zoom in?
Zoom in a little bit. I can't quite read it on my screen. Boop, boop, boop. Up groovy. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So what is woke? Few conservatives lean woke. Only some people claiming to be Christians are woke right. Okay. And of course, this is once again the same thing with whenever they label the left woke, because it's always a label that they apply and that nobody else gets any say in. It's not like a club that anybody's actually joined. It's not like, if you call me an online advocate or activist for things, I'd be like, yeah, I guess technically I'm that, sure. But it's got to be a name that they control. My objective is very long piece is to lay out the case about what. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Just only some people claiming to be Christians are woke right. Well, the majority of Americans are still, or at least a plurality of Americans are still identify as Christian, and only a sizable portion of that plurality are right wing. So you're still talking about like a sizable portion of Christians that he would define as woke or woke right.
Yeah.
Because it's the dominant religion. And it's got diverse opinions despite what people on the right believe. Actually, sorry. As you were.
So, in other words, as everyone is asking, what in the hell is going on? I don't think James Lindsay is going to actually get clarification on anything. So his objective is to lay out the case that about woke in detail in such a way that allows him to explain what's going on with the woke right in both MAGA and the broader conservative movement right now, which is nothing short of revolutionary coup by radicals for control over this half of American politics. Now, wouldn't it just be a lot easier, James Lindsay, if you just said that there are far right white nationalist extremists that are trying to take over the party? Wouldn't that just be easier?
James Lindsay does not believe that extremist white nationalism is a thing, and he has not for.
That's where this comes from. That's the problem. Is he doesn't recognize what's actually existing in this party right now, and it's been building its way up for a long time.
Oh, decades.
Yeah, and people like Morgan, myself, and many others have said since 2016 before
at least, yeah,
that Trump and MAGA is the thing that's going to allow them to do that.
Right.
So yeah, here we are. That's crazy. I didn't realize until right now that that's why he's going through all this. That he's laboring under this fucking essentially stupid task.
It's that. I see how he gets there, right? Because the right wing has made everything they don't like woke, right? All of their boogeymen are woke. That's the box they've put everything in. And so when they don't like each other, what do? They call each other woke.
But I was confused by the people that were getting labeled this, though. Was what really confused me. It was like, wait a second, Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson are the woke right?
Well, because they're the most bad, so they must be the wokest.
Well, I think the justification in his mind too is that they're focusing so much on identity politics or something like that, and it's like that's you're operating from so many flawed concepts like identity politics and woke, like all of these things being essentially meaningless, just fucking thought-terminating cliches. Sorry.
The right-wing machine. I mean, this is the whole like saying that the left cares about identity politics has always been a case of projection. No, there's a reason they have all of these. They have to exclusively claim Christianity for themselves. They have to talk about how every person they don't like is trans or a groomer. They have to label everyone. Identity politics is their whole brand. That's why, they identify as MAGA, right? That is they have created as a political class that represents a certain type of nationalist, conservative, usually religious person. And that group has other demographics that they run their political campaigns and center their ideology as being opposed to. It's all they do. Trump's whole political career is nothing but identity politics, going back to when he put out a newspaper ad trying to get some kids convicted of crimes back in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, I now that you mentioned, I remember that too. I remember seeing a clip of him saying that at Yahoo.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of becoming clear that what I think, and based on that, and then what Morgan had said a minute ago about, it's just the people they don't like. It seems like maybe somebody realized the most successful we've been has been with this word woke in terms of like alienating our enemies and people we don't agree with, and we have to stop this little group of whatever that are anti-Israel or anti, at least, questioning our relationship with Israel. We got to put a stop to that. So what do? We use the thing we know works.
We know it works, right?
We call them woke.
But then you also have like neo-Nazis on TikTok calling Trump woke because he's still allied with Israel.
Yep.
Because as Jaybird points out, woke was also a dog whistle for Jewish.
Yep.
So it turns out when you
somebody said earlier, I thought it was a dog whistle for black people existing. It's like, yes, it's all of that. It's always been all of that. Because even if you're just reading this article by James Lindsay, it's a really good spot to learn how they see it.
Right.
It really hurts to read and it sucks to, like, in a lot of ways. You're gonna lose brain cells, but you might learn something at the same time. That basically, once you start getting into Marxism being part of it, at the root of it, and all these other ways, like that it's connected via
that's
these
just
specific
JQ shit, then.
What's that?
That's just JQ shit. What you're like, and then Marxism, and I'm like, all right, yeah.
He also talks about how it comes from. He does mention that it came from the African American community, stuff like that. So he's correct in all of that, and it's like you see how you start to see how they tied it all together in their mind. And because something has some offshoot in its origins or whatever to this other thing, but that means that it's inherently always forever connected or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fucking bizarre. So let's see. Yeah, his essential claim is that the radical woke right is enacting a political coup, MAGA, the conservative movement, in roughly 3 or 4 stages. The stages are the consolidation of elite power to direct the party, consolidation of MAGA under their rule and organization, seizing control of American and Western conservative politics from that party base, and seizing control of American and Western political and economic power through that party base. Okay?
That's just the conservative movement since Reagan. What are you talking about?
Phase 1 is already done of the coup, apparently. Already been completed. Phase 2 is well underway.
Well, yeah, Reagan's been dead for a while, and he finished it in his first term. What are you talking about, you weirdo?
The MAGA Civil War we're presently experiencing is a result of the main body of MAGA having become aware of the problem as Phase 2 proceeds. Okay. So nobody knew that there was a problem because maybe it was just things were going the way they were supposed to the whole time.
Okay, so here's the deal, right? After January 6, 2021, the Republican Party did not know what to do, and they ran around in a circle with like a chicken with their head cut off, and essentially allowed the mega base to consolidate power around Trump. And now Trump runs the Republican Party and has for about a decade, not counting a slight break between 2021 and mid 2022. So again, MAGA is already, it's the dominant force of the Republican Party. It is the controlling interest, and it is removing the elements it doesn't like, I don't know, all the women congressmen who were MAGA or congresswomen.
If you don't recognize J.D. Vance as the guy that is most definitely maneuvering himself to be the one to receive the legacy of MAGA, and definitely probably not having the exact same things in mind for it, that
Erica Kirk squeeze.
Did you see she fucking endorsed him for president in 2028?
Yeah.
He has not fucking announced that he's, so I mean, I guess that was announced.
You know who has announced they're running for president in 2028? Who? Donald Trump.
That's right. Yeah. With his hats.
He's talked about it
Yeah,
a bunch.
I think honestly,
Steve
I think that
Bannon's
the Erica Kirk thing, I think that was planned. I think that was done exactly. I think that he wanted her to say that so
Yeah.
they could kind of just field test it and
Yeah.
get the idea out there without him being the one to say it
Right.
because he's vice president still. So
Unfortunately, nobody but my uncle likes the guy.
oh man, your uncle, what's wrong with him?
We don't have all night.
Okay. Well, some people just like a guy like that. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it, but
maybe my uncle's into couch fuckers. That might be it. Maybe my uncle's a couch fucker.
Maybe he likes to dress up like a couch. Who knows?
Maybe he's a couch cosplayer. I don't know about his life.
See, we warned this is going to happen. We started letting men be women. They're going to start dressing up like couches. And try to do a little version of the helicopter joke there. I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah. No. But you know what, Dane? Yours was better than any helicopter joke I have ever heard.
Yeah, it was meant to be stupid because it was based on a stupid thing in the first place.
Yeah.
It was supposed to show how stupid that whole thing is. Anyway, so he gets right into it right here. He says, the main mechanism of conquest I present in this essay is something called elitist capture, which roughly follows a culturally Marxist Gramscian model based off the Western Marxist theory and practice of the Italian Antonio Gramsci in the early 20th century, which many elements of the woke right have explicitly embraced. Is that right?
The reason that MAGA and the conservative movement is captured by the elites is because it's run and financed by multinational corporations and billionaires, most of which who are white and or Christian. That's why it's elite captured, because it's run by the elites. Good. Not Marxist. All of these people famously not Marxist.
You know what I'm realizing, that the best comparison, like the best analogy for what James Lindsay's role is doing this, it's like the same thing as the I guess what you call like the shaman back in the day, trying to figure out how the sun rises every day, and and like where he's like doing chicken bones and all kinds of shit in the, like
there is this sort of proto-science element to it. Yeah.
Using the best of his fucking ability, just like coming up with some answer, just anything that makes some kind of sense,
I think there is this like, well, he cannot either, like, he doesn't want to, or through the power of cognitive dissonance, can't recognize that this is just the conservative movement. And it has been that way for longer than Reagan, but Reagan is where it really ascends to power in the United States. He can't just like acknowledge that like the elites are right wing. So he has to come up with this whole cosmology and whole systematic view of the world to plaster over that the people he wants to blame don't exist. These Marxist elites that these people are talk about, they don't exist.
I mean, yeah, and it doesn't help that he cannot be he cannot be concise and efficient with his wording for the life of him.
Well, no, none of these guys can. They try to hide that they don't.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say maybe part of that is by not by design, but like it's functionally, it has to be that way, because how else is he going to logic his way into justifying the stupid shit he's saying if he doesn't just like, yeah.
It is this, if you watch any of these like right-wing thought leaders, quote unquote, they all kind of talk this way because it's the stream of consciousness. They have to try and like pretzel their logic into coming to a conclusion.
Well, then another thing I'm remembering now that it's been a week since I read it, but I'm remembering now, noticing that he seems to adopt any like social science concept that he comes across, that even from like, he seems to just take it as something that he needs to kind of see it that way. I don't know. It's like weird that you don't have to adopt everything you come across, my guy.
No.
You know what I mean? it's weird how he just wants to, and I don't know if it's just name dropping he's trying to do instead, where he's just trying to sound smart by throwing in these concepts and stuff that don't really have any bearing on what he's saying, as far as I can tell.
Well, I think based on his educational history, he knows what like a peer-reviewed paper or an academic paper looks like. He just doesn't know, like, this is not his area of expertise. This is an area of expertise he cosplays in for money. So that's why it comes off as like not quite right, because he's cosplaying.
So he mentions this this person. This is right off the bat here. He's like, "Do you not understand this?" Where he's saying that woke is a worldview. Just follow me, because holy shit, woke is a worldview, namely an activist worldview. Every architect of woke on the left understands it as such, whether they use the word directly, use sophisticated terminology like critical constructivism or critical hermeneutics. As does Kinchelo. I don't know who that is. Did he mention that already?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, for example, specific and literal in calling it a worldview. I mean, I don't even realize that that's need to be said. Like, it is a way to view things. Yes, that is, and he acts like that's some kind of just bizarre, fucking mind-blowing concept that people should be scared of or something.
Well,
like,
I think
it's a lens. Yes, it's everything that we look at. Any way you look at something or examine something, you're going to have a lens. You know?
If you are James Lindsay's strongest soldier watching this at some point, let's talk about the Christian worldview, TM, right? Like we have a religious power that prescribes and promotes a worldview based on their interpretation of the Christian religion and how it applies to political theory and political activism and political ideology. That's a lens. They don't have to view it that way. That's how they choose to. That's not anything revelatory. In fact, I imagine most evangelical Christians would agree with me that they do view the world through the lens of a Christian worldview.
Yeah.
That's just a people thing.
We all know that
discovered how people work.
The only person who can view things without any kind of biased lens is Mahler. We know that. And if you're unless you're Mahler, I don't want to hear from you. Okay. So in the book, Critical Constructivism, a primer, a text that he has referred to as the Book of Woke for as long as he's known about it, he writes from the beginning, in this unified context, critical constructivism becomes a German word, it seems like, a worldview that creates meaning on the nature of human existence. And that's where you lost me, bud. Woke, and this is where I think it's a critical fucking error in how he views this and therefore how he explains it, because if we're talking about woke as being a way of identifying systems of oppression and harm that exist, and that's what it is in the most simple terms, it's just a lens for recognizing that the way things have been set up in society, the way things have gone, where we are right now, not even assigning any blame to anybody, just the way these things are at this point, based on things. A lot of it was set in motion a long time ago. Is yeah. And to think that that's somehow an insane thing to even do, to think about that, I don't know.
I hadn't heard of critical constructivism before tonight, so I went and looked it up. And the Wikipedia page has a huge flag on it that reads, "This section incorporates text from large language models. It may include hallucinated information, copyright violations, claims not verified in cited sources, original research, or fictitious references. Any such material should be removed, and content with unencyclopedic tone should be rewritten." This citation does not cite sources, but does not provide page references. Please help by improving it. So it seems like this is kind of
bullshit.
Bullshit.
So wait, who is the? Can you look up the name? The Kinchelo? Who is that?
Yeah, let me do that.
That's who allegedly wrote it.
I'm gonna ruin my search history by looking up this dumb shit. It's fine. It's not my computer. It is my computer, but I get a town in Michigan. Did I spell this right?
Kincheloe.
Yeah. That's the
Let's see.
I mean, I'm sure I can. Is there a first name anywhere in there?
I'm looking because he uses it as if he said it already, and I don't see where he has said it.
Did I remember? Can you control F it and try and find it that way?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Give me a second.
Sure.
I'm not sure what that would reveal of my account information or something like that. So
okay. Is it this guy? Okay, I found a Joe Lyons Kinoloche.
Okay.
The Canadian.
Oh.
Well, okay. This article includes a list of general references, but it lacks sufficient corresponding inline citations. So once again, we have a Wikipedia article with some dubious tags on it. And
Joe Kincheloe was an educational theorist in Canada, research chair in critical pedagogy at McGill University. He is known for his work in critical pedagogy, curriculum studies, and cultural studies. In the context provided in this article, I'm using an AI thing. I'm sorry. It just gave me an option, so I'm looking.
Okay. All right. So I looked up what critical pedagogy is.
Yeah.
And it's a philosophy of education that applies concepts from critical theory and related traditions to the field of education and study of culture. It insists that issues of social justice and democracy are not distinct from acts of teaching and learning. So that our education system and our democracy are linked. That's what Jimmy Concepts has a problem with.
Well, but I'm realizing now what he's doing. He's using this specifically instead of critical
race
analysis
theory
or critical theory
analysis. Yeah,
because
critical legal theory.
I think that this is obviously it's a concept that it favors being able to say that these people they're flawed. Their logic is flawed, right. And that's what he's doing. That's why I think that's why we haven't heard of it before. That's why he's using it so much and being so specific about what he's using because. He recognizes that some people, the smarter conservatives might go, well, critical theory, critical thought is actually a good thing. So what's wrong with like critically analyzing the world we're in, right? The way that he explains it a little bit later on in his article, I'm remembering, is that essentially it bypasses actual critical thinking. This is his way of looking at it. That woke bypasses actual critical thinking in favor of saying, well, if someone in power says something or teaches something or whatever it is, that basically that can be dismissed outright because they have a position of power.
That is not what critical theory says.
That's not what woke people do. That's not like, I mean, if I had at any point in learning about leftist concepts come across something like that, I would have abandoned that avenue. Like I'm straight up, I would have just been like, no, that's fucking, I'm sorry, I can't follow down that far. And maybe I have in a couple of spots, rare examples, certain individuals here and there that said something. I'm like, I can't follow that logic. But no, in general, the idea of critically analyzing the systems that we have around us, that we are part of, that we benefit and draw everything from and contribute to, so on and so forth. It's just, it's a pretty, it can be a pretty coldly logical thing. And even from the perspective of like, you know what, I need to take a break and get some water because I'm
right, you get some water. I'm gonna teach class here while you do that.
Yeah, you do that.
All right. So a brief primer, the briefest of primers on critical theory. I know it from its legal context. I've listened to several lawyers talk about the subject because I was interested in what the fuck it means. And it is a field of legal study where one analyzes the passage of laws and judicial rulings, not as an objective thing, but based on the beliefs, goals, and motivations of the people who wrote them. That laws aren't this objective thing passed down from the heavens, to be a bit hyperbolic, but instead are the creation of people who had things they wanted from the law. And this is all of the critical theory that in its various forms, critical race theory and stuff, that the right has thrown a shoe about the last several years, is that it's about how dare we wonder about what the people who passed laws were trying to do with those laws when they made those laws. No, that's a pretty normal thing to be doing. Hey, why is this way? Is not a weird question to be asking. Unless for some reason you don't want people asking questions. So where James Lindsay says that it's about getting people to just treat every statement of authority as false, well, that's not true. It's about seeing how they used their authority to implement policy. Those are different things. For instance, we can compare the opposite with how the right wing has become virulently anti-science, from climate change to vaccination to electricity generation to trans healthcare. All of these things, we know who the experts are. They can document their research and the science they've done to get where they are and to prove their models. But none of these people care about that. They are just rejecting the authority outright because it doesn't match the lens they view the world through. So that's what he is talking about, what that would look like.
In other words, in other words, it's that he is assuming, or he's saying that that essentially he's ascribing the conservative mind to everybody else, in that they start with their conclusion and work backwards.
Yes.
And he's saying that that's what the woke does, right? That like we've decided that these people are bad and they're oppressive. When it's not, also to add to what you said, which was well explained, it's also that not even that the people that enacted these rules or laws or whatever, that they necessarily knew that they were doing something that would be harmful to, it's just, biases, the blindness to certain things because of you don't recognize that what's not your lived experience, right? And so that's the other part of woke is trying to get people to recognize other lived experiences, and we need representation for those experiences in our government and in our daily life, culturally, socially, civics, and everything, so that we can make the world actually a more egalitarian place, and actually put the world. They love to say that, or I know Jordan Peterson used to say a lot that that the woke wants to equal outcomes or whatever. It's like never been about that either. You know what I mean? It's just no, we'd actually want equal starting points.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and like a bare, an equal starting point that isn't in the fucking dirt, right? Like, and we can do that. We have the resources. It's just the people with those resources would rather not use them that way because they could use another bunker somewhere or another yacht, or they need to buy up a media company that said something bad about them one time. That is more important than like a few $1 billion to feed all the world's poor for the rest of the century.
So with that understanding in mind, let's listen to a couple more things here, how he blends these things, actually what woke kind of is versus what he's making out.
Sure.
Or just maybe he does see it this way because he's not stepping outside of his own experience. But to say that it is adopting a conflict-based us versus the world or friend-enemy distinction, oppressor versus oppressed explanation for the total operation of society, one in which everyone is necessarily a participant. I mean, well, yeah, but the oppressors are the enemy. The oppressed are virtuous victims by definition because they're victims. The conflict, I mean, nobody said, like, there's weird fucking things that being attached to it, like virtuous victims. Nobody's ever said how virtuous the victims are. You know, I don't feel like nobody's ever like, oh, these are innocent, pure souls. That everybody that's ever been, you know, oppressed is just such an innocent human being, and they've never done anything wrong. And no, that's the point is that it doesn't matter that anybody might have done something wrong. What matters is that people don't need to be treated like shit, regardless. And that even if they have done something, in many cases, it's because the system is fucked up. And you know, anyway,
it is
I'm gonna crash out here, man. Crash out.
All right. It is interesting that he, you know, defines woke as this friend enemy distinction, us versus the world thing, when he has created a whole systemic mythology on what woke is and who is in it, including people ostensibly in his own movement, but also all the people not in his movement. And has zero self-reflection to that fact that he has created this distinction of woke and not woke, and he is in the not woke camp, and the not woke camp is good, and the woke camp is a literal cult.
I mean, what if I just replaced woke with red pill?
Let's try it. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
That red pill is a worldview means red pill is a way of seeing the world and behaving in it. That red pill worldview means adopting a conflict-based us versus the world or friend-enemy distinction, oppressor versus oppressed explanation for the total operation of society, and one in which everyone is necessarily a participant. The oppressors are the enemy. The oppressed are virtuous by definition because they are victims. And the red pill people see themselves as victims of the system, right? Like they're very much like there's no lead.
Is that they don't like to think of themselves these ways, because it, just as much as he's using it as a condescending, disparaging kind of thing, low key here, you know, they view it that way. They view being a victim as being just like, you know, if you're that, you're basically just like a cuck or whatever,
right? But they also necessarily see themselves as oppressed by the system.
They do, of course, yeah. They're like the feminazis that, or the whatever,
right.
The black trans, you know, lesbians that whatever the fuck kind of shit they say, are oppressing them. You know, they just won't generally use those same terms, even though they mean the exact same thing whenever they're talking about the shit.
And then we'll go on. The conflict is totalizing in society, defining not something that's merely happening or partly true. Well, we see this in all the Chud channels, right? How everything they don't like is the part of this woke agenda, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all, you know, the message is, or whatever he fucking says.
The way that he uses, like, he puts waking up in quotes and then capitalizes woke and everything. It's like he really does seem to see it as like this is our official terminology and not just a word that actually happened to be, you know, grabbed by the right and co-opted far more. You gotten far more mileage than it ever would have otherwise.
Right.
You know, it's like it's so fucking funny. Such a dork.
Yeah, this is bad. So I think we have. Is there anything else you wanted to show in here, or have we touched
the last part where he very, you know, interestingly here, a key job of the few who are awake is to awaken other. We're talking about the Matrix here, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Because they're
back to red pill shit.
And then he says, and then he gives the definition for awake in German as the Nazi slogan. Like, why the fuck? As if, well, awake, that's the only other time anybody's ever used the term awake or woke was in Nazi Germany. You know?
Alarm clocks are Nazis because they wake me up. What the fuck, dude?
And then this whole fucking paragraph just throwing in Nazis and relating like
like he's like, and also they're Nazis.
The Nazi mission also included waking people up to this particular worldview, which we can conclude is woke. So yeah, good job, man. I think you maybe jumped the gun on throwing in the Nazi thing there a little bit too soon in this whole thing, but whatever. All right, let's move on from it.
So dumb. You know who else is dumb?
Who's that?
Candace Owens.
Yeah. You know who else is dumb? Real quick, Erica Kirk. Check this out.
Erica. Oh, we got to play this. Here's our palate cleanser. Everyone, get ready. This
Loss
is beautiful.
of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same gift. Grit. It has been a long day. Trust me, you're not a grifter, honey. It's all good.
Not yet. Not until
Here's a
Holy
clue as
shit.
to whether or not you're a grifter. Here's an easy test. If you're on that stage,
Yep.
You're a grifter.
Can't believe she fucking slipped and said grift. That's fucking hilarious.
I want to just like drop the mission accomplished banner and like come up and high five her.
Yeah, you did it.
You did it. So proud of you, Miss Kirk.
So yeah, Candace Owens. She said some shit, and we're gonna look at it right now.
We're gonna look at it.
Because okay, so I think should we watch the because
no, we're not showing her WW.
This was in response to Ben Shapiro's comments at CPAC, right?
Sure. TPUSA conference, yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So
Candace Owens talking about ostensibly Ben Shapiro, but also a whole religion and ethnic group. And maybe some Pathfinder characters. Research is ongoing.
Not Pathfinder. I'm talking about it was a guy. He's from Ash versus Evil Dead.
Oh right, yeah, that one too.
So in order just to kind of promote this guy again and not give her any views, I'm going to go ahead and go right to Ebb and Flow podcast.
Yeah, let's grab that from Ebb and Flow. Let's not give any views to Candace Owens.
14,000 subs, that's not enough. Give this guy some more. He's like really good with his analysis. He's on top of stuff. I mean, he does kind of get zeroed in on like this type of conflict that's going on, but I think that he's right too, because since I've been paying attention to him and what he's covering here, he seems to be focused on stuff that's about to become the subject that people are going to be paying attention to, right? Like I was kind of paying attention to what was going on with Candace Owens and stuff and her grift, because I was watching this guy, and that's kind of led me to realizing, oh wait, this is kind of going to be a big deal. I think this is going to play a pretty big part in what happens with the right. Lo and behold, you know what I mean. Now, first of all, let's add, before we get to that, let's talk about this part, the conspiracy theories that she'd been peddling to a degree, and basically Erica Kirk called her out, as we talked about earlier, and then Erica Kirk proposed a meeting with Candace so they could talk about these things behind closed doors with no cameras. And I think that's pretty telling. I think, speaking to what she just slipped up and said in that clip, I think that's just there's no evidence of this, obviously, but to me that says we know that we're full of shit, and we know that we need to, that Candace has kind of gone off the plan a little bit, and we got to kind of get this taken care of. We don't want to destroy either one of our grifts. So we want to talk about it behind closed doors so we can come out of it and maybe just grift together, or not, at least not grift against each other, right?
Right.
That's the way I see it. And so yeah, they had a closed door meeting or whatever, and then pretty immediately Candace started saying the same shit.
Immediately back on her bullshit.
In fact, she gave away the game in that. So she said that basically, she realized that they didn't have anything other than a written or an affidavit that says that Tyler Robinson shot and killed Charlie Kirk. She was looking for them to tell her some more evidence that they have, apparently, and just a little asterisk by all this. Little asterisk is that this is all Candace Owens saying this stuff, so it could 100% of it be false, not true. Just don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth. So with that in mind, yeah, she says that she essentially was looking for them. She could have been convinced by Erica Kirk to stop asking these questions, if she gave her some evidence that made her convinced that it was Tyler Robinson. And she didn't give her that. In fact, the only thing she literally said, do you have any more evidence? And they didn't. So yeah, that made her continue on. And yeah. Then what did Ben Shapiro say? Did he say anything specific about Candace Owens on his speech?
I did listen to it, but he had a lot to say about the Nazi wing of the conservative movement, and how they've gone one bigotry too far for his liking.
Yeah. I mean, all these other bigotries that we do, that's perfectly fine. But totally now you're doing the one that's about me.
Right.
Yeah.
Leopards eating my face?
I knew there was...
Can you imagine?
So anyway, yeah, I just was wondering if there was anything relevant that he said, because it does say in response to him, but I don't think it really matters. What matters is the
It doesn't
meat of what
matter.
he says
No.
here. So I'll go ahead and skip
Who gon'
that.
take it there? Who gon' take it there? Who gon' take it there? Who gon' take it there? Electricity, 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 electricity. You know what's in the air. You know what's in the air. It's in the air. You know what's in the air. It's possibility. It's possibility. It's possibility. It's possibility.
All right, so Candace Owens has responded to Ben Shapiro. I figured this would happen. I covered yesterday that Ben Shapiro, at the first day of the Turning Point USA event, the first one since Charlie Kirk's death, he took the opportunity to excoriate. I'm not sure. I always heard it as excoriate. Fellow commentators like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens for insinuating that Charlie Kirk's death was some kind of conspiracy, that Israel was involved, blah, 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 making a very detailed case against Candace Owens' style of conspiracy theorizing, a case which I completely agree with, but also is just completely falling on deaf ears. I mean, this is what the conservative movement is at this point, and he knows that. Candace Owens, in response to Ben Shapiro, went pretty dark. She went pretty much straight for a very anti-Semitic angle, and does this it's an interesting example of the way she weaves these webs of hers, because she weaves in narratives about slavery and tries to make it a sort of call to arms, not literally to the black community, but like a wake-up call. And it's
I just want to pitch this real quick, because I was thinking, like, you know, it makes it uncomfortable to address it all, being the whitest guy ever that I am. But like Candace Owens being a black woman, I think that there's, you know, whether she intentionally or not, I don't know. But at some point, somebody made the. I mean, I think it's notable that she's worked for TPUSA, PragerU, Daily Wire, right?
Daily
Like
Wire,
she's
yeah.
people, they've seen her as, you know, the useful minority that they could parade around and say the things that they want said, and then you know, gives them the layer of well, look, it's a black woman saying it. Can't be. We're not racist. She's not racist. She can't be racist, right? The same thing with Eric July, kind of thing, right? Except she's been far more successful than him.
Yeah, buddy.
You know, and so, like, I guess just is it her purpose? I try to identify what each right wing media figure, they each have a purpose in my mind. Like, what are they sent out to do? Who are they sent out to try to appeal to specifically? Right? For example, Tim Pool. You know, he's the disaffected liberal, which I think nobody buys that anymore, really. But it's at one point he did have that some layer of, you know, reasonable doubt, where there were people that probably fell for it, or definitely fell for it. Right? And it's like, oh, he's a guy who used to be liberal. He thinks they went a little too far. I agree with that. Yeah. And then suddenly you've got, you know, them on the hook, and you can just start pumping fucking far right talking points into their ears. And I feel like her purpose must be something like just people who do recognize to some degree that you know, conservative minded people, or at least centrist maybe, that yeah, you know, black people haven't had such a fair shake or whatever. So like, it allows them that veil of or that self-denial that they're actually racist, maybe, because they don't want it, but they, I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah, and I think a black person probably could speak to this much better than I could. But there needs to be, for the conservative movement, there needs to be a faces of black conservatism.
Yeah.
Because there are black conservatives. And this
Sure.
is not a new thing, right?
But I feel like there's not, I mean, maybe this is just misguided on my part. I feel like there's not, just pound for pound, enough of them that they would need to appeal to them if they, you know, if it wasn't for other purposes too. Right? Like,
Sure.
I don't know.
I also think it does give them a lot of, it does give the movement as a whole coverage that they are bigger and more, you're going to love this word, inclusive than they actually are.
Yeah. The pick me caucus is what you call fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah. we blindly listen to black women. Anything the black woman says, we are on board with it. So yeah, I don't get why we haven't just completely.
Maybe we're listening to the words coming out of her mouth, going, "Holy shit, she's awful!" Like we're about to see.
Well, I mean, you notice that, like, as far as the. By the way, and I'm going to look up something about this so I can actually know what the name of it was. But remind me once we're done talking about this part of it to talk about the thing with what Candace was doing early in her political life.
Oh yeah, we should get a chance to cover that. We should cover that too.
I just found that out and I was like, holy shit. All right.
Very fascinating how she does all of this, because she's obviously tying in her personal petty grievances against Ben Shapiro and him firing her into this broader narrative about slavery. And
she does that pretty well, or at least she does it rather. So like the whole France and Macron being sued by them, suddenly eventually she started tying France into the Israel having possibly having trouble. It's like, okay, that's convenient that the country with the president are being sued by. Like, okay.
Yeah, Mossad and French spies were trying to have her assassinated, and that Trump was going to protect her.
That secret, that really extra secretive wing of Mossad from France.
Stuff. So listen to all that real quick, and then we'll get into it. This needs to be confronted head on, and it's not going anywhere. The right wing is going to be grappling with this for a long time, and it's very likely that the Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes wing of the movement is going to be what wins out. And while they are right about some things,
man, that's going to be really bad news for Conceptual James, because that's the woke.
Yeah.
It is not a good thing for them to win out at the end of all of this. So here's what Candace Owens was saying on her show.
Well, Ben, when it comes to you and having worked with you, I just know the tactics that you use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising to inflate your numbers to make people think that you're popular. Your ability to believe that you can keep manipulating the markets. Those kids booed you on that stage. The amount of messages I got from Turning Point USA.
Uh-oh.
Everything that Charlie did. That's what you're doing. You're sitting against everything.
Hello? I got like some weird slow down speed up thing going on.
Oh yeah. We still good, chat?
Yeah, we're good.
It did kind of blink out for a second.
Yeah.
Let us know if anything's weird besides the crazy shit she's
really started saying. Yeah, here it's about to get bananas.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And yeah. Honestly, I didn't even know. It's always interesting, fucked up way to find out far right conspiracy theories that exist that I just didn't even really know about that part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, the Jews are responsible for slavery. Apparently, that's something that's said before she said it, which I wasn't aware.
That's not remotely historically true.
No, of course not. But
not even a little.
That Charlie believed in. Because you weren't his friend. He didn't like you for that very reason. Because what you really believe in is Baal Berith. That's what your people believe in. You believe that you are contract lords and that people are not allowed to violate contracts, or you will ruin them for years. You fire someone and you effectively stalk and harass them for years after. I'm here to let you know that I'm done with it. Sort of dramatically having me.
Just to go ahead and take a moment to talk about Baal Berith. What does that mean?
Yeah,
right?
that's a word.
So yeah, for anybody that's not familiar with Baal, is
BA'Al.
He's got his horn and robe game is on point. I'll say that.
Yeah. I love the horns.
The horns are great, a functional purpose, functional thing. Yeah. Apparently he has to have these scrolls must be around him at all times. So if that's the case, what else are you going to use your horns for? But
need the contracts, right? He's a contract guy. He's got to have the contracts. Right.
Of course. He's also, you may have seen in Ash versus Evil Dead. He was essentially the big villain of that. Because Ash kept Bill his ball. But But what is this actually? This is actually just a very specific angle on the fucking old fucking protocols of the elders of Zion, fucking bullshit that Jewish people are actually they're of the devil. They're that they do these just it is it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, obviously this is crazy. The concept of this existing at all of anyone believing this shit or pushing it is crazy. But like the fact that she's sitting here fucking going with this angle. She's had the most successful podcast for several weeks now, at least a month or so, as far as anybody, conservatives especially, and that's not good. It's not a good thing at all. Now, speaking to the point that Ebb and Flow made about how like it's not good that they were probably going to be the ones to win out on this, that is true. At the same time, maybe it could also be the thing that undoes them even more, because this is nuts. This is not
right,
stupid garbage to a degree that like a lot of people that might believe other stupid narratives that we think are stupid, that they might think that this is too far. Hopefully.
Well, it's Baal Berith is a Canaanite god.
Yeah.
Not a a modern contemporary religious deity.
Right.
Or even one that has existed for several thousand years.
But you think the people she's appealing to, that she's talking to, they don't know or care about that.
No, they absolutely do not.
It's just a vague fucking JQ shit. Yeah, so this is, I don't know if this was always the plan or what, but it seems like maybe it was to a degree, that she was always ramping up to the reveal, like, haha, anti-Semitism was what I was talking about the whole time.
Well, when she got fired from Daily Wire, she got on that whole Christ is King movement, and that is an anti-Semitic dog whistle.
It is?
Yeah. When you're spamming Ben Shapiro with it.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it was okay, fair enough. See, I'm kind of naive to the whole religious aspect of this shit, because I'm like, I just saw that and I'm like, that's just her trolling him for being Jewish. I didn't realize that it was like I guess that's what that is, but yeah.
I had a former MAGA person explain the fuck that was about to me. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, got it. Yep. All right. So, amusingly, in a completely unrelated note, her doing that inspired a fictional religion in my sci-fi home RPG setting that takes place in the future. So Christ is King. But if we look at who the most published king is in the 21st century, when Candace Owens is saying that, it's Stephen King. So in the future, there is a religion based on the works of Stephen King, who succeeded Christ as a reincarnation of him.
So she specifically said Baal Berith, which means Lord of the Covenant or God of the Covenant, a Canaanite deity worshipped at Shechem. This god presided over binding agreements and alliances, often linked to political religious treaties between. Man, she really did kind of find the most useful version of this. Crazy. Between the Israelites and Canaanites, becoming a symbol of idolatry and apostasy when Israel adopted his worship after Gideon's time. He's also called El Berith, God of the Covenant, which Baal is in that ancient historical context just means Lord or Master.
Yeah.
And then Berith, covenant or treaty. Okay. Funds from Baal Berith were used by Abimelech, Gideon's son, to hire mercenaries for his violent rise to power, showing how idolatry intertwined with politics. This is all stuff from the Bible. So this is like, the Bible telling the history of shit, right? To a degree.
Yeah, and this is incredible. Like, this is the we're talking about the Bible as a historical document. That's
a silly concept.
It's I don't want to say it's a silly concept, but there's a level of skepticism required.
Yes.
But also, The Old Testament is kind of polytheistic in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those instances. So it's just like this character in those stories is not necessarily the protagonist or the ones worshipped by the protagonist of a given story. So it's like, oh, and she goes on to relate this to all Jewish people when like,
yeah,
nah, sis,
I'm
that's
trying to
not
make
how this.
Yeah, I'm trying to make some kind of like not sense of it, but I'm just trying to understand how she's trying to. But I mean, it really is just mostly a vague appeal to the vibe of this.
Right. You hear Baal, you hear some weird, Canaanite Semitic sounding name, contract master, as she puts it. That's not exactly the right translation, but there is a certain mythical appeal she is leaning on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what it does is it tickles that part of anti-Semites' brains that know that there's something fucked up going on with the relationship of the U.S. and Israel. All right, and except that they've not been allowed to consider that it could simply be that there's just a capitalist thing going on that is purely corruption, sure, but is not about any religion or viewpoint other than believing that money is the best thing ever.
Except for
we're
the
doing,
like
and,
the end times Christians who think that the destruction of the Jewish people in Israel is necessary for the return of Christ. That part of the religion figures into a lot of what our government has done over the last 50 years.
Sure.
Especially in the,
but I mean, I think that's partly why we're starting to see this fracture, because they're the younger folks. I don't think they fucking care like that. You know what I mean?
I don't think so either.
It doesn't mean anything to them. They're just like, whatever, you old people believe that, whatever,
Well, I
so
mean,
that's.
If you're a younger person, and by younger, I mean in the young Republican sense, where you're under 45, you have grown up through, 2012 was going to be the end of the world. We had COVID, the 08 financial crash, the dot-com bubble, Y2K.
Doomsday's gone by.
Doomsday's gone by. So nobody is convinced outside of these specific movements about the end of the world anymore. The world will one day end. None of us will be here to see it. We'll all be dead already. We're not that special.
The only thing there is that, like, it is it's not likely to happen, but it is more likely now and in the past, like, 50, 60 years than it ever was previous.
Well, nothing like thousands of years.
Basically, once the introduction of thermonuclear war.
Thermonuclear war and the Industrial Revolution have definitely put a accelerant on the end of life on Earth. But
you know what it is? It's because because there's no logic to it, and most people, even kind of on like in a vague sense, they recognize that, so they need something else. I think. You know what I mean? It's just, there's no fucking logic to it. There's no rationality to it. There's no morality to it. So people that otherwise, might appeal to those, live life, some logic, some morality and whatnot, they need something metaphysical, something spiritual, or something that, that they can kind of point to that makes them feel like it's valid, I guess. That's what I think.
I also think that the history of mythology is tinged with not necessarily the modern concept of racism, because our modern concept of race is not one that has existed throughout human history. It's actually about 150-ish years old. A little more than that, closer to 200 at this point, but I digress.
Yeah, what about white history? Okay, so what, the last couple hundred years since it was created?
Yeah, the term comes about in the 19th century. Sorry. But in terms of mythology, like Julius Caesar's war diaries use a lot of what we would recognize today as like racialism and racial stereotypes to justify what he's doing to Germanic and Celtic tribes. It is Julius Caesar writing his own mythology. It is very much a book about self-mythologizing, or series of books rather. But that really is somewhat core to a lot of mythologies throughout human history, is this cosmic us versus them.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
And so it stands to reason that those mythological struggles have gone on to influence modern racism. And because, racists tried to use science to justify their racism with, things like phrenology and eugenics, and it didn't pan out, they have either turned to pseudoscience, pseudohistory, or mythology. And really, pseudoscience and pseudohistory are also just forms of mythology.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that is a good question, because there is certainly a mythical component to racist ideology. And I think she is embodying that right now.
Exit after doing my show, not knowing that I was going to be fired. And then they had put together a stage in my studio and put up clips put together basically a whole package, like almost like a high school play, and conducted what I honestly, when I look back, because it recently leaked what happened at this quote unquote town hall, this is a slave hanging. This is a slave hanging, right? Gather around, everybody else is a slave. And let me tell you how this one messed up. If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hate, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie.
And by us, does he mean, who does she mean by that?
That's a very good question.
Because, like, as far as I know, she was the black employee. I mean, maybe they have some behind the scenes or something, but like
probably. But I also think that, like, okay, so let's say she's right, that this whole production that she's talking about happened and was done to make an example of her. This is the Daily Wire, the company of Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles, etc., etc. Yeah, they're a bunch of racists. What did you expect?
And also, they're a bunch of performative assholes. They're a bunch of like a lot of conservatives that we see and deal with on a regular basis.
Assholes.
They should have just been theater kids.
They should, they should have been theater kids. They should have smoked more weed and taken a creative writing class. Maybe run a D&D campaign.
Drop some shrooms. You know what I mean? Like lay out in a field and just like think about life and shit. And like It's crazy because like
take up Magic the Gathering. I don't know.
It very likely, in fact, that they created this situation to humiliate her on the way out the door.
Yeah.
And that's just because they're petty fucking pieces of shit, and that's what. It shouldn't be a surprise to her. But I mean, to jump from that to it being a slave hanging, I don't know. I'm not one to speak to that. I also don't think she really is, because we haven't had slavery in a minute.
Even if she is speaking to that, and that's entirely like, if I'm going to take her at her word, and I don't think that's unfair in this part of it, this specific instance. I think that's just par for the course from the people who brought you Lady Ballers. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you about when I got fired from a job. No, I'm not going to give you the whole story because it really doesn't matter. But I'll just say that there was one time in particular that I was fired because it's kind of a long story. But anyway, they figured out that I had not been upfront with them about something that was really none of their fucking business, and that I'd actually told a lie so that I could get some time off so I could do a thing, right? And they found out about it to a degree. If they realized that something wasn't on the up and up.
Sure.
No shame there. I don't give a fuck. I'll fucking lie to any fucking goddamn employer. It's none of your fucking business. Anyway, but what they did was the two managers called me to a meeting and like had me sit there and explain to them. They wanted before they even told me they were firing me or anything like that. They didn't say anything about that. They wanted me to explain to them, the story or whatever. And I was like, and I realized immediately what they were doing. I was like, so you guys are firing me? And they're like, well, yeah, well, no, we just want to. I was like, are you firing me? Am I going to leave here employed or not? Because that determines, you know what I mean? Like, I could tell that they just wanted me to say it, and then they were going to fire me anyway. And I was like, fuck this. I'm not going to fucking cop to anything. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Anyway, so people in power like to do shit like that, man.
Right.
It's fucking, and they were all white. I'm white. Not to say that there aren't white people that are racist and do shit to try and humiliate black people. Of course that happens, but I don't know. It's just a weird angle to go at here, acting like I can't believe Ben Shapiro did something racist.
Right. And was theatrical about it, right? Like this again, this is the people who brought us Am I Racist? The movie where Matt Walsh humiliates himself by being racist a bunch.
This is the guys that they wanted to make a documentary where they would plant some man dressed as a woman into women's sports so that they could show, how ridiculous that is or whatever. And they literally couldn't do that because why is it? Ben Shapiro said because they don't let men play women's sports.
So weird.
So what they did instead was they just went and made a fictionalized version of it instead. So it just goes to show they will go very, very far to make their stupid points.
Pa Wraiths mentioned Dark Lord Bellows is in league with Pa Wraiths that have taken over the Daily Wire.
Oh man, she's talking about Pa Wraiths. You might have me on the hook then. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit. Pa Wraiths are involved. Holy crap. Yeah.
To us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us. And to people that are at home, I implore you to wake up to
there's that woke right thing.
They are contract lords. I challenge Black Americans to wake up to your true history because your quarrel is not with white men. Okay,
wake up. There is her job in the conservative movement.
Yep.
That line right there. Yeah. That's her job in the conservative movement.
I wonder if she's ever said it as explicitly as that before.
Yeah,
probably.
That is like, we talk about the right wing as like their primary tactic is to turn minorities against one another, and to turn working people against each other. That is exactly what she is doing.
And her deal is to all these people that have been, to any Black people that have begun to or question the nature of capital and the exploitation of all of us, you know what I mean, or the nature of white supremacy as not like a literal act, white supremacy. The fact that we live in a white supremacist nation, that I benefit from it, you benefit from it, right? While not being white supremacists, we are beneficiaries of that system. To a degree, that she's saying no, it's not white people, it's the Jews. It's the Jews. Fucking crazy, man. It's fucking crazy.
It's
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, she's clearly got something else on her mind, I think. Like because the Macrons are literally, I don't know how much they're suing her for, but it's probably a lot, and it's probably kind of stressful for her.
Well,
even though she probably
at a certain point, I think what's going to be the issue is that, like, whatever the judgment is, she would rather get to that sooner than later, because the cost isn't going to be the judgment; it's going to be in her legal expenses, her lawyers, and their lawyers probably. She's
doing a Nation of Islam for white boys. Interesting.
She kind of is, yeah. That's a group I haven't heard of in a long time. Last time I heard about Nation of Islam, Rush Limbaugh was still alive.
Yeah, seems like a long time. I'm trying to think about what, I don't know. Bye-bye to the conservative grift. I don't know.
I
think
it's
just mutating, honestly. It's just mutating. And not in a good way. We're mid mutation. It is still transforming as we speak, and it might be for a while. But yeah, it's definitely the level, the playing field has changed on the right as far as like their cohesion. That has gone, and almost partly exclusively because of Candace Owens, but also Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. But
right,
I think they're just the ones that saw the opportunity to grift. And I'm gonna have to think about this a little bit more. I'm not right now, but like I do have a theory I'm gonna work on. Anyway, what were you gonna
say? I think that like Charlie Kirk was a finger in the dam in the conservative movement in a lot of ways. That he bridged the gap between
the generations.
Yeah, well, that not just that, but I think that he sort of served as a veil that concealed exactly how Nazified that the machine of the Republican Party had become. You know, these staffers and stuff that we've seen leaked group chats from and Discord channels from. That like the whole logistical network of the GOP is based on is run by Nazis. And that he had a hand in getting those people there, but he was also publicly anti people like Nick Fuentes. Whereas a lot of those people that he got into those places are very much pro Nick Fuentes. So, you know, you've got Fuentes trying to like go, look, all your people are my people. And then you have Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and some others trying to be the like the new center of the right, not center in a centrist way, but the new core of that. This sort of
she wants it to be Candace centric,
right? That they want to be the new face of it.
But also, just like if you're gonna at a certain point, you there's no upward mobility once everybody's on the same talking point, saying the same shit. Everybody's kind of in agreement with each other, just like superficially, because you have to be for the larger grift to work. But then eventually, you know, once they saw, oh, there is a timeline, a timetable for this MAGA thing. Everybody started seeing that at the same exact time, which was, you know, the Epstein stuff, Trump just looking like his brains are leaking out of his ears at night. You know, things like that. People started kind of recognizing, okay, there's an end date here. We need to start thinking about that. And these few people in particular said, well, you know, you're gonna have to break from the fucking narrative a little bit if you want to stand out at all.
And you're going to break from it in the right way, right? Like you can't go left, right? You can't pretend to be a populist. You have to lean into the racism. Because I think that at this point with the Epstein class, with the utter collapse of the economy under the tariffs, that economic populism lie has played out its course. You need the racism. It's all you've got.
Yep.
And you have people like Ben Shapiro who want to maintain the status quo of mostly anti-Black, anti-immigrant, and anti-queer bigotries as the core of the right-wing operating system.
Because
otherwise it would hurt him.
At the end of the day, inside, there's as cool, calm, and collected as they may all seem, which they don't often seem that way, but like whatever they're saying generally, whatever they're expressing at the core, deep inside, the thing that they, you know, feel if they could access their emotions anymore is essentially this.
Fucking my ancestors fucking enslaved those pieces of fucking shit. I rule the fucking world. Those pieces of shit get ruled by people like me. They look up and see a face like mine looking down at them. That's how the fucking world works.
He's so squeaky.
Yeah, I love the way he says mine. It's like the brattiest shit ever.
That's bratty. Oh my God.
That is the right wing's id, just you know, spoken in the most perfect tone that it could adopt.
They don't need power. They need a blankie, some more milk, and a nap.
My ancestors, my ancestors looked up at us.
No.
Then I showed this on Friday, but like it's worth showing again because it is relevant. I mean, I guess with Candace Owens in particular, it is trickier because like she's obviously not thinking the same exact thing that he was expressing there. But maybe the other side of that could be what motivates her to a degree. I don't know.
It's possible.
Like frustrating trying to figure these people out sometimes, but At the same time, it really does just boil down to this in a lot of cases.
Ideology is all about perpetually being a loser. Let me explain. I recently saw a YouTube video where a guy was just honestly asking, how is it that all of these YouTube personalities just suddenly came out of the woodwork and started being right-wing grifters? And I saw somebody who responded and said that it's a lot about them not being able to be successful in what they wanted to be. And he gave an example of somebody like Ben Shapiro, whose entire family is apparently really deep in like Hollywood culture and making money off of Hollywood, only he's not. So as a result, he's just bashing everything that comes out of Hollywood because he's fucking jealous deep down. But I decided to extrapolate that out to other people, because a lot of people who suddenly go full conservative, they seem to do so because what they originally wanted to do or what they wanted to be known for, they fucking failed at. For example, let's take more Hollywood and television celebrities. Kirk Cameron, Kevin Sorbo, Scott Baio, fucking Rob Schneider. All of these are people who...
Dean Cain, James Woods.
Cain. Yeah.
And then we can go to comic books. I mean, pretty clear ones right there.
Yeah.
And then just, and then you find out that like even Gary Buechler, Nerdrotic, he tried to do a comic book back in the day, and then of course he went to prison.
Right.
But it's all just about having a personal grievance with society, essentially, and then instead of doing what any sane, healthy-minded person should do, which is kind of recognize that even if there are forces, I shouldn't use words like that. I should be specific. Systems at work that at play that we're sometimes subjected to negative consequences of, which is true. There are always ways that we can, look at how we've contributed to our own, negative outcomes. There's always some way that you can look at, like, I could be doing this thing better, even if you haven't failed, even if you've done anything wrong necessarily. You can still look at how you can maneuver amongst these systems better to create better outcomes for yourself. But these people don't fucking do that in any kind of way that actually adopts any personal responsibility, ironically.
Well, yeah, it's a complete lack of that. It's everyone else's fault.
It's like, it's just I'm owed this. This is the way it's supposed to be. And like I said, everything Richard Spencer's saying there, it's like, this is the way the world works. Yeah.
They call people, left of them entitled, but like, what is their worldview if not the peak of entitlement? What is white nationalism if not the height of entitlement?
What is it that you have if someone has the privilege to, let's say, have a whole blog and career that's based on the idea that, like, these people, these wokies, these wokish, they're adopting these lenses that are just like what? You're adopting some lens or something to look at things, because he doesn't realize, James Lindsay, that he has a lens too.
Right.
Everybody does, and that except his has just been the norm and for the longest time, and maybe that's not necessarily the best for everybody.
I don't even think his is the norm in some ways. I think that,
well, in the sense that like looking at not having to examine the world and society through any kind of critical lens is kind of a norm for your average white guy.
That's true.
Like, that's what I mean. That, like, we generally benefit from it, have benefited from it for the most part.
Right. But I think even then your average non-politically active white guy has a more apathetic lens they view the world through than James Lindsay's.
True.
Where he has a lens, and that lens is everyone is coming to get me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we're saying the opposite thing here, but
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Him doing that is a response to realizing that people want him to recognize that he has a lens, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, that's all woke really is saying, hey, have you considered these filters with which you view the world through that maybe has given you some biases that you're not aware of, this and that? And it's like, and some people go, oh yeah, that's a thing I've never thought about. Wow, that must suck for X type of people or whatever. And we should do something about that. And then other people go, no, I don't want to think about things. I don't know. Spencer's rant is, yeah, no shit. The epitome of inequality feels like oppression.
Yeah, really good call.
But meanwhile, it's just so many examples of the shit that they believe is going to happen to them. The negative consequences they feel are happening to them are either just warranted because they did some egregiously antisocial shit, or not real. For example, I have some stuff here from here we got so apparently this happened in November, I guess, but Scott Snyder, comic book writer. Hey, that rhymes. I wonder if he's ever realized that. Scott Snyder, comic book writer. Dun, 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 have like a theme song. He posted something about in November about the elections that happened and how the Democrats did a pretty damn good job. And somebody responded with this: please stop sharing your political beliefs. They're starting to seep into your comics, and it's bad for the industry.
Oh my
Republicans
God.
buy sneakers too. Don't forget that they also read your comics for now.
I want to know what comic book this was in response to.
I mean, it wasn't to a comic book. It was to him posting about his politics, posting about the Dems winning.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
In November. And
right,
he had a pretty damn good response. And I mean, I will admit that some liberals, comic book creators, have responded in pretty shitty ways. And not to say that it warrants the hate that it gets them, but it's like, for instance, Dan Slott, I remember years ago. But I mean, when you're dealing with the kind of nonstop bullshit from the public, the way that some of these people do, after a while, I get it, just being like, you know what, fuck you, man, you're a piece of shit. And then, but then that becomes part of Comicsgate lore. We're like, oh, this creator hates the fans or whatever. And it's like, no, he just didn't want to be talked to like a piece of shit by you. Anyway, so then Scott Snyder did handle it very well. Brother, I have behaved basically the same way on here since 2009. I'm open about my life and politics. I don't go at fans who disagree. I'm happy to have discussions in DM, which I do. For 15 years, you guys have warned me sales are going to drop. Meanwhile, fucking DCKO and Absolute Batman, fucking goddamn juggernauts of sales. Like,
yeah. DCKO is DCKO is way better than it has any right to be. What the fuck?
It's really fun. It really is fun. Like, I mean, yeah.
Like,
he's figured out how to do an event that, yeah.
If you had asked me like earlier in the year if I was going to enjoy Age of Revelation or DCKO, I would have said, well, probably Age of Revelation. And Age of Revelation kind of sucks in my opinion. And DCKO
there are good
is
parts
so
about
much
it,
fun.
but overall, the overall thing is not great. But there are good little stories in there.
Parts.
Uncanny X-Men is
yeah.
phenomenal. You haven't read that one.
That one's really
But
good.
It's notable that it doesn't really have anything to do with the larger Revelation storyline.
I think the ones that don't are kind of the ones that are a little better. I think the only
Yeah.
one that isn't really tied in with the overall story that I'm like, this one kind of sucks is Radioactive Spider-Man. I was just not.
Yeah.
Not
I thought I was
impressed
gonna
with
like it, and it didn't really do much for me.
No.
You know what it is? The Age of Revelation is full of comics that are a good example of what I mean when I say that it's really hard for me to hate a comic or feel like I read a bad comic.
Yeah.
In that I don't feel like any of the comics I've read are bad. They're it's just kind of like, meh. I don't know if that was really worth the few bucks or whatever.
I think like the first issue, I think the one that like stands out to me is like the first couple issues were just not great, and I'm glad I didn't pay for them. Was Omega Kids,
mm-hmm.
where I'm like, this isn't great. This is
the only ones I really got were based on the creator involved. Like
fair.
That I recognize. I don't remember who that was, but I didn't.
I've had some flights lately for work, so I've been doing a bunch of traveling on the job. So I've had some comic reading time in the air.
Like, I mean, so I will say that I am glad that I read The Last Wolverine.
Yeah, that was really good.
The ending turned out to be like, okay, so now I do kind of have to read the finale of Revelation thing because it's Wolverine is set up so perfectly for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one was way better than any right to be. Undeadpool is really good.
It's pretty good. I mean, just that first issue, the narration has been, it's fucking fun. Well, you know what? We're here, so we might as well just pivot naturally into comics now.
Yay, comics time.
Let's see what we got here. Got a couple that I was wanting to discuss. I just got to see what they were because my brain's crappy right now. I've currently been reading The Immortal Iron Fist by Ed Brubaker and Matt Fraction.
Ooh.
I read through that all the way, and so Pretty good.
That's a team. Whew.
I mean, it's okay. So Night Fight is an offshoot of DCKO, and it's interesting. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the one with the Batman. That's the Batman tie-in, right?
It's basically what happened to him after he got quote unquote killed in issue 1, I think of.
Yeah, the end of issue 1.
Let's see. Oh well, first of all, Ultimates number 18 happened.
I am
and
the last one I
was,
read was with the one with Fantastic Force. I think I'm behind on it now.
So this one, I'm trying to remember what this happened. Yes. Oh, this is the one where basically it literally is just about Iron Man, coming out and making his plea to the world, essentially. Like
cool.
Here's what's going on. So he does found a way to essentially just let everybody know
hack the planet,
who they are, what they really are, what's really going on. So you see literally everybody all around the world kind of watching this message.
I don't know if I'm sad. Like, on the one hand, I'm kind of sad that the Ultimate line is going away.
Is it going away?
That's what they're saying. But I feel like maybe I wish we would have known it was going to be a tighter story from the beginning, and I wish some of the writers knew that, because very clearly they were not informed. I think you could tell with like Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate X-Men that like they gotta wrap it up, folks, partway through.
Yeah, seems that way. Very similar vibe to Krakoan era, for instance.
Yeah,
like we're just like, okay, things are fucking humming. I'm really into pretty much everything that's going on right now. Holy shit! Oh wait, they're gonna end it. Oh,
they're gonna end it. Yep.
So yeah, he makes his plea and shows what's going on generally. So just kind of setting the stage. You get this first drop of this one right here.
There's
Luke Cage. Symbol. I had somebody try and do some weird shit, man. And this is like months ago on Blue Sky, where I said something about how good the Ultimates was.
Okay.
And somebody said, "Oh yeah, like it was good how they took a black man, Luke Cage, and you have a chance to kill him, a whole new version of his story, and you make him a guy that's in prison, and every prison he goes to, he starts riots." And I was just like, that seems like a bad faith description of what's going on, man. And like
that is not that.
It got me kind of pissed off, and I almost got into a whole old school Twitter fight with this fucker, but I took a breath. I was like, no. Because if that's your read of this, then you either are just being disingenuous or you're too stupid to talk to.
You're reading Wikipedia summaries or something. Yeah.
Because he also said that he's a violent black man. It's like, well, wait a second. I went back and looked at his introduction. He literally isn't. He's like teaching peace and had control to other inmates. And
that's the whole like the whole thing is that he starts the riots so that he can get relocated, so he can undermine the system.
Breaking out of like literal fucking. Right.
Yeah. Just
fucking bullshit. So yeah, you get a Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
That's interesting.
They're like they don't want to believe that Captain America is actually here to help them. They're like, we've done bad things. You wouldn't be so nice if you knew. He says that doesn't mean you can't do good things. And to be fair, Wanda, the world did bad things to you first.
And this is a nice callback to like when Wanda and Pietro first joined the Avengers under Captain America alongside Hawkeye. This is a fair question Screwface brings up. Is my beef with Ultimate Luke Cage was why that issue had to drop in February, though. That part of it is a little on the nose. I will give you that.
I mean, but you'd have to think that, like, if assuming that they didn't just take the issues out of order as far as Dennis Camp had written them, that they would have had to start it at a specific point to get it to drop at that point.
Get it to land there. That issue is kind of like in the middle of the story. I don't know that like.
Was it cover dated February, or did it actually release in February?
I forget. I think it released in February, but that would make its cover date March or April.
So this is pretty great. America Chavez gets to go visit Midas, which she never got to say anything to him when she got rescued, right? And here it shows like she's kind of vaporizing people, right? He says, "I knew you'd come. Forgive me not getting up, my dear. Your friends broke my neck in so many places, in so many pieces. Not even all the money in the world can put it back together again, apparently. The suit is the only thing keeping me alive. Breathing has become a gruesome chore. It's good to see you, my love. I felt I had to before the next phase begins. You have something to tell me? No, I have something to give you. Give me. What could you give me, my love? I'm one of the world's richest men."
Sweet release of death.
Yeah. You were
Sweet
one of the
release of
world's
death.
You were.
Fuck.
Good shit.
That is good shit.
Yeah. What's weird to me, like, I mean, I know they say that they're ending it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hasn't it been, I know it's not been selling as well as absolute DC stuff, but it's been selling pretty well. Right?
I haven't looked at it in a while, to be honest. I know initially it was all just firing on all cylinders. I think
I'm just wondering if that's coming to an end game and all that is just more about, how comics market stuff.
It might be. I would not be surprised. And I wouldn't even think it's a bad idea to like do your big wrap up, leave some future threads, and then come back to it in, once you have a plan of what you want to do with those.
Well, somebody had said at one point, and I thought it was a good idea, potentially, is just like doing basically make the Ultimate Universe or Ultimate Comics a different universe each time.
Every time do like sort of an anthology meta series. Yeah. That would be very cool.
Rise up. 0 months remaining, so we're there.
We're there.
I think
Party time.
31st, December 31st is when Ultimate Endgame comes out.
Yep. We're in the end game.
And then similarly, have you read the most recent Spider-Man?
No.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
No, I am way behind an Ultimate Spider-Man.
Very similar thing happens in this one, in that the guys that have been gearing up to make their pitch to the world, they do it in this issue. That being those old fuckers, Uncle Ben and J. Jonah
Uncle
Jameson.
Ben and J. Jonah Jameson, yeah. Two of my favorite characters.
Great work. Just excellent artwork. Maybe the best of the whole series in this issue. I don't know. It's fucking phenomenal.
It's a cool cover.
I mean, there's internally, it's fucking cool. Like, it is great. God damn it. Where's it not? There we go. So yeah, if you remember, I don't know if you read the last issue, but basically, Peter's oldest son, what's his name?
Ben.
Ben, yeah. So he's gone with the I was about to say the symbiote with the AI costume, Venom.
Yeah.
To break into
Go vault.
Yep. And so basically, Mary Jane's pissed about that. At Otto, because he's the one that helped him.
Yep.
Otto's wearing a costume as well. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, he's like they already have the superior Spider-Man, which is interesting.
And so Peter's, trying to keep everybody contained here, and he's like, "You got to bring this thing to where your son is to make the thing work and do the thing." And but I really just wanted to show off the art in this one because it's fucking phenomenal.
It is cool art.
Mole Man shows up. He wants to watch as everything happens.
I do like Mole Man in this. Like, genuinely a good Mole Man. Just hard to do.
Well, there's been an effort to kind of, redeem Mole Man to a degree in general, like because of the role he had in the Fantastic Four as well.
Mm-hmm.
The movie, I mean.
Yeah, I know. The where he's like the union boss.
Yeah. Weird shit going on with Mysterio. It's kind of unclear. It seems like they all got fused into one body or something.
Yeah, I think they got blown up, and now they're all like all of the Mysterios are one in one chassis now.
Yep.
And Harry is
it's
having
like,
feelings about
are you still gonna have sex with that Harry, or what? What are you gonna do?
Is that a polycule?
Mr. Negative shows up to confront Kingpin. which he does it for a little bit at first.
So much for the Sinister Six.
And we've been waiting to see what's going on. Like, when's Harry going to be, more of an Osborn, right? Like, he's been
right.
very
When is that?
Seems to happen here. He gets called into the office instead of fighting all these bullseyes. He gets called to talk to Fisk. Meanwhile, awesome art happens.
Yes.
Look at that crash. Mr. Negative reveals that he knows that he's Peter Parker, to which Kingpin was like, what? Learns it's him.
You could have told me.
Yeah. How do you know? Yeah, and he also learns that Wesley was part of Mysterio.
Right.
Which you didn't know. That's some good art right there. Holy shit. Just 2 pages of phenomenal comic art.
Indeed. I love this version of Mr. Negative. I'm not a big Mr. Negative fan, but like this one is primo.
Then you got Black Cat and young
Venom.
Ben here dealing with some shit. Essentially, excellent
Not
fight
as much
scene.
as Dad. Kingpin is genuinely brutal in this.
He gets a little cocky, Spider-Man does, because he's like, Kingpin's like, I kicked your ass last time. You barely made it out of here. And he's like, yeah, but I know what I'm doing now. I've had some time to practice and whatnot.
No, you do not, son.
Yeah, not really. And then says, Harry, are you there? Because he's got him in his earpiece. And basically that's when he is introduced to Captain Britain, so to speak.
Oh, fuck.
Who makes his appeal. Because, Harry is he's a rich guy.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's pretty clearly going to be the avenue that he's going to take with it. Like, hey, man, you're a rich guy. We're rich guys. Why are you working against this rich guy?
Right.
Be rich
and
guys.
I'm sure the Norman Osborn AI in his suit has something to say about that.
Well, he's basically pushing him to, make a choice. He's like, do you have any loyalty or any agency at all? Yeah, you're just a thing to be pulled to and fro. I'm sorry, Pete. There he goes, being an Osborn.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
At the same time that they start blasting their message out, which is essentially telling everybody the truth. That Kingpin decides what kind of life you're allowed to have. They feed you a fake idea of life. They feed you and then laugh as you choke on it.
So Uncle Ben and J. Jonah Jameson are the heroes of this story, and Peter Parker's just kind of hanging out, which is cool.
I don't know if you want to call this hanging out, I guess.
I mean, he's getting his ass kicked. He's not doing much else.
And he's like, I'll take care of the son. You finish up here. Nope. I'm just getting started.
Ooh.
Last page, big Spidey comeback.
Yeah.
Splash page, love it.
I do love a good splash page.
So that's where that is. Wait, where does it say it doesn't say 0 months remain?
I guess not. Normally it does. Huh. Weird.
Oh, you know what? I think that might be because it's going to be because it is, I think, one more issue for the Ultimates, but then this still has this to wrap up before I guess he joins the
fight.
The larger fight.
Show. Yeah, I need to. Hopefully, this work week I've got a few things to do, but hopefully it's kind of calm and I can use Thursday and Friday to just read some comics and catch up on Ultimates because it's on my to-do list. But my to-do list often just gets bigger.
The one thing I wanted to mention other than that is I don't know if you've seen what's going on with the Hulk right now.
Oh, no idea.
So there's a new Hulk series that's been started with the same creator that was working on it prior, Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Sure.
It is called Infernal Hulk.
That sounds bad.
It is
like not like a badly written comic, but like,
I think they're setting up maybe a potentially, line-wide crossover with this kind of thing.
Ooh.
So this is an Infernal Hulk and what he looks like.
Oh no, that's we blow that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Zoom that into the class.
Again, let me see. Hold on one second. I'll be right back.
Holding on, you be right back. I will talk shop with people. Yeah, it's probably true. They've got Avengers movies coming soon, so probably want to do a big Avengers thing, which I guess using Hulk as a starting point for that is not the worst idea. When does Avengers 6 come out? Doomsday is the next Avengers movie, right? Am I crazy?
Oh, were you talking about the Ultimates or?
Just in general, like they probably like maybe could Ultimates or just like mainline 616 Marvel doing a big Avengers tie-in before big Avengers event because the Avengers movie is coming out 2 years. A year next
it comes
year,
out
yeah.
Christmassy time, I think.
Yeah, like Christmas next year.
And apparently they've been releasing teasers with the Avatar movie. There's supposedly like maybe 4 or 5 different little ones that they've and I still cannot determine if the ones that have been seen online are actually legitimate or not.
Yeah, I'm just kind of tuned out on it, and you're not going to get me to see Avatar. Sorry,
AI fucking everything, and now we can't tell.
Right.
I've seen some very convincing descriptions of it that say that this is obviously very real and it's actually a real thing. And I've seen some others that say, well, this detail is kind of weird and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
I haven't looked myself. But apparently the first one that was released has to do with Steve Rogers. And then he's got a baby, apparently.
Okay.
Which they focus on a bit, and which does kind of makes you realize that, oh wait, all the heroes have kids now.
That's true.
They kind of already blew past their window for doing a Young Avengers.
They really did.
All the ones that would have been Young Avengers are just like the old Avengers now.
They're just old now, yeah. Well, not old, but they're older.
Yeah, too old to be young, basically.
Kinda, yeah.
So the last Hulk book ended. Apparently, I have not read how it wrapped up. I didn't know it was leading to something like this. Incredible Hulk, I think it was called, by Philip Kennedy Johnson, wrapped up with the Hulk. So the whole thing was about these ancient monsters that have been buried in like the let me see if it gives a description here so I can not butcher all the canon that they've worked so hard to create. For eons untold, the mother of horrors was imprisoned in a pocket dimension, locked behind a gate none but the one below all could open. Using Hulk as their vessel, the being known as Eldest finally opened up her mother's prison.
Oh, fuck.
But found her withered, mindless, and broken. Eldest consumed their mother's flesh, imbuing Hulk's body with the primordial seed of corruption that once created the great old ones. As the infernal Hulk rises, a new age of Earth begins, the age of monsters.
Oh, fuck.
So he's essentially Hulk, but he's been corrupted by some ancient evil
old god shit.
And you see that kind of play out here, where they're like, oh, the Hulk's, it's the Hulk, and then this one soldier's like, no, man, he's a hero, man, he's one of the Avengers, dude, it's all right, you don't have to worry about the Hulk. And then the Hulk shows up. And he literally just does that.
Fuck.
Claps that guy's brains out.
That's less than ideal.
Yeah, that's not a good day. You want to see that happen generally on any day. And then he, gets shot out a bit. He grabs a helicopter, smashes some dudes with that helicopter. That's a good, nice fucking splash page right there.
That's a very classic Hulk splash page.
Love it. And then he just, goes about squishing people.
Oh, God damn. So it's just like a horror Hulk. I love the bullet effects on the body. What the fuck? That's cool. With the ripples and stuff, that is awesome looking. Holy shit. Also, it looks like a little frog guy on the bottom is trying to fist bump the Hulk, and that's adorable.
That is cute. I like how it says sploosh. And then
squish.
Squish.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep. So that's it. It's basically, it seems like they're setting him up to be
a cosmic threat.
Yeah, some kind of big threat for the heroes face, and that's cool. That's cool. So I do got to get going though.
God damn. All right.
Yeah, it's been fun.
That's fair. I gotta get going too. I gotta use the restroom.
Yeah. So everybody, if you are not subscribed, please do that thing, and then
Right
check
there.
out. I think we'll be. Wait, is this week Christmas? Right? Yeah, it is.
This is Christmas week. Yeah.
So I'll probably be doing something. Whether or not I don't think we're doing a showcast necessarily on Wednesday, but I might do something that day or the previous day or something. So just look out for that. If I get a chance and not doing family stuff. And then I might be taking a break after that. So, I mean, I think what I am going to do is plan for a New Year's Eve thing.
Sure.
Stream. So that'll probably be definitely the last one for a while. I need to take a break. I need to focus on some stuff. And yeah, I'll talk more about that in the future. But
yeah,
otherwise, I hope you all have a lovely week.
Likewise. Take it easy, everyone. And enjoy the holiday if you can. And stay safe out there.
If you can, yes. Here's this guy.
I want to believe this because I already fact-checked it and I still can't quite wrap my head around it. But Poppy Seed here pointed out that if we were to annex Canada as a 51st state, it would come at a great expense to us because Canada has more people than California, but half of California's GDP. What? Canada has universal health care. They have paid leave guaranteed for new parents, and their minimum wage is almost double ours. I looked it up, and it's true. Canada's GDP per capita, which is economic output per person, is $53,000. California is over $100,000. And in fact, if you ranked Canada compared to all the other states, they would be second to last. Only Mississippi has a per capita GDP lower than Canada, and it's really close. But wait, doesn't that also mean with similar economic policies, we could have universal health care, paid leave for new parents, and a higher minimum wage using only Mississippi's per capita GDP? And the best news for Republicans, you're not even the ones paying for it. If you rank the United States by this same metric, the top 5 are all deep blue, and 9 of the bottom 10 are red. Democratic voters are trying to give a better quality of life to all Americans, no matter where they live, and they're trying to pay for it out of their own pockets. Progressive policies are nothing more than economic empathy. It is liberal states producing the wealth for this country, but it's Republican policymakers who have ensured that wealth only goes to billionaires and defense contractors.
Maybe we saw being friends.